everybody. Hope everybody is doing good. Happy Friday, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Glad to see you guys. As always, I am really happy to be here. This is really like my time, and I feel kind of selfish because I like doing this every Friday at 8 o'clock. And you guys always have been so supportive and stuff. So for those of you guys that are new, hi, I'm Jeanette from Boricua Sewing and Crafts, and welcome to Embroidery Happy Hour, where I always like to talk about a certain topic every Friday for the first hour, and then just chit chat with you guys for the rest of the evening. So, what did I have going on this week? Well, guess what? I actually got all my machines serviced yesterday. All the embroidery machines, my ST1900, and also the Juki. The only machines that didn't get serviced yesterday were my Sergers because I haven't really been using them much, right? But one of the things that I did was I know I probably talked Justin to death when he came. But we just kept talking about the machines and all the different things that you can do with them. And I asked him a lot of questions while he was servicing the machines. And I thought that this would be something that is really, really helpful for me to share with you guys. So I just want to share some of the things that he talked to me about maintaining your sewing and your quilting machines. Okay. So as you guys know, I always tell you guys to make sure that you service your machines on an annual basis. It's really, really super important because your machine has a lot of moving parts. It's kind of like a car, right? So the first thing that I really do want to say before you even jump into it is I want you guys to really think in your mind that machine that you have at home, whether it's a sewing machine or an embroidery machine, a quilting machine, whatever it is, okay? Think about all the money that you have put into that piece of equipment, right? So you bought that equipment for a reason because you love to do it. It's a nice hobby. It's something that's really relaxing to a lot of people. And some people actually use the sewing machines and the quilting machines and embroidery machines because it's something that they kind of like, little hustle they have on the side to make some extra money, right? So it's really important that knowing upfront the amount of money that you have spent on these machines, it's really important for you to know that it's really important to keep the upkeep of these machines. Okay. They can break down, and if they break down, it can be really, really costly for you to do repairs. So the way to try to prevent that, right, because it is a machine, right, everything breaks down, everything has a end of life cycle and stuff like that. But the thing is, you want to prolong the use of it as long as you possibly can. So one of the things that I was doing was I was talking to Justin about it yesterday, and we talked about the timing. Okay, so I did write down 10 things that I wanted to share with you guys about maintaining your sewing and your embroidery machines. Okay, so the first thing, the timing, okay, is something that you really should be doing on an annual basis with your machines. You should be taking it into the sewing shop. You should be having somebody to look at it, for the simple fact that there are a lot of things that can cause the machine to get damaged in the long run. Okay, you may not see it right up front, but there are things that can really mess it up. For example, okay, when you take it to the sewing shop and they run a maintenance on it, they actually strip your baby naked. That means that they take all the coverings off, and all you do is see the little wires and everything on there. So they go and they actually vacuum your baby out. Let me tell you, when he was vacuuming mine, I had no idea the amount of lint that I had in there. And I actually clean my machines on a really regular basis. And he could tell that I've done that. Every time before I turn on the machines, well, really when I turn them off, when I'm done for the day, right? This is really my routine. So you guys can get an idea. When I am embroidering all day and I am totally done, usually what I'll do is I will take my brushes and I will remove my bobbins from the machines, and then I go ahead and I just brush out all the area inside and take out as much of the lint as I possibly can. Then I put this back in. When I get up in the morning and I have to turn on the machines again, what I'll do is I actually take this out. I do brush it again a little bit because sometimes you can miss a little bit of the lint in there. And then what I'll do is I'll oil the hook, and then I'll put my bobbin back in, turn on the machine. Now, The thing is, though, is sometimes when you are embroidering and sewing, you do get a lot of the lint inside. And as much as we try to clean it out and we try to get all that lint out, sometimes what happens is when we push our brush into the machine to kind of swoosh it out, you will always get a couple of lints that will actually just stay in there. And sometimes it kind of like digs down deep. Sometimes you do have some people that will take an air can and they will go ahead and spray it. That is something that he says is a total no-no. Do not do that, because when you use a spray can on the machine, what you're doing is you may see some lint pop out, okay? But some of the other lint will actually get more embedded into your machine. The lint can actually pile up, and then next thing you know, it can interfere with certain parts of your machine during time. So it's really, really important that you go ahead and you clean your machines and always take them in for servicing, because when they remove the body of the machine, they actually vacuum the whole thing, okay? And when they vacuum it, they can see the lint that kind of got away from your brush and kind of got embedded inside of your machine. They catch it at that time, and that kind of helps you, so that way your machine can last a long time. So don't forget that, okay? Please, 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 if anything, remember, you invest a lot of money in this machine, so the last thing you want to do is to, think that, oh, I don't want to spend the money. And then next thing you know, you're running your machine, and then all of a sudden your embroidery's not coming out right, your sewing's not coming out right. And then next thing you know, you're going to end up paying more money in the long run, because it could have been prevented. And now you have to repair parts and everything like that. And it can end up being more costly in the long run and stuff. So, that was something that me and him talked about a lot, especially this last visit, because I got to admit, I did it. Okay. I will tell you guys, I usually do it every year. Okay. Every year I have them come in, but I kind of pushed it a little bit, and I pushed it to like a year and a half this time, because I said, well, I clean them really regularly. I don't think there's going to be too much dust in it and stuff. And when he came in yesterday and he opened up all of my embroidery machines, I will tell you, he passed that vacuum on there, and I was kind of like, boy, was I wrong. Okay, so I did see the dust go up everywhere and stuff, and I was like, I had no idea that happened. So honestly, if you trust me, the dust is in there. So you don't want it to accumulate, because before you know it, your machine can go belly up. So that's the first thing I wanted to share with you guys, okay? The other thing is, you want to make sure, and I'm telling you all this stuff because this is stuff that I shared that Justin had talked to me about yesterday. And also, I just want to give you guys a head up. I talked to Justin today, and he is going to go on our live. He's pretty busy right now, but he agreed to be a guest on the show. And, because I thought it would be really cool to have somebody that really does the maintenance and stuff. And you guys can hear all this directly out of him, and you guys can ask him questions. Okay. So I thought that would be a really, really neat treat for us, for you guys to meet him, especially if you guys live within the Washington, D.C. area. He does service machines in people's homes. He will go to your home in Maryland, Virginia, and Washington, D.C. And he sometimes makes trips to Delaware as well. You just have to call him so that he can plan it, because he likes to make a several stops, so that way the travel can be worth his while. But anyway, back to that. But I just wanted to give you guys a little note that he does, I plan on having him on the show one Friday evening, so that we can talk to him. So, if you have questions, okay, put them in the comments of this video, and I will collect all of the questions and give that to him. So that way, when he goes on the show, I can ask him those questions, and you guys can get your answer. So, but let's keep going on with the stuff. I'm starting to scatter all over the place again. Here we go. All right. So oiling the machine correctly. Okay. I screwed up on that one, boy, especially on my Juki 2010Q. Okay. Now I'm good when it comes to oiling my embroidery machines. However, on the Juki, I'm over here thinking, oh, those big quilting machines are really like thirsty. They need a lot of oil and stuff. Well, let me tell you, Justin opened up the Juki and he popped the bottom, and there was like a pile, a puddle of oil. Okay. So he was like, how much oil are you putting in this thing? Like, you put it in a pot. I was like, oh, so he was like, you only need a drop. He told me, so he kind of explained to me that sometimes over oiling can really mess up your machine as well, okay, on an embroidery machine and also a sewing machine. So make sure you are oiling correctly. You should only have like one drop. You shouldn't have like a whole bunch of drops and stuff. I was actually putting 2 drops in each section of the Juki, and he said, nope, just put it in. He told me, when I service it, I service the body of the machine. I oil the machine for you. It should be good for a whole year. The only thing you should be oiling is the hook area. So when he told me that, I was like, okay, now I got it. So I'm going to like leave that alone. So I was like, that wasn't good. And the other thing he was telling me also was, be careful when you are, so I see some people, they oil the needles, and I'll show you like, if you come here, I'm going to show you real quick. Can you guys see? Nope, you guys can't see. All right. Let me see. Sometimes, how these embroidery machines have these needles, right? Sometimes people will push these needles down, okay? And when they push the needles down, they go ahead and they oil the bar of the needle, okay? Now, you can do that. However, be very conscientious that you don't want to over oil that section. If you over oil it, what happens is when you start embroidering, you can have a chance where the oil can actually get on your garment, and that's not going to come off. It's going to be really hard to get that stuff off of it. So, be very conscientious of how you oil your machine. Make sure you're oiling them in the correct place with the right amount. Over oiling them can damage it, and even under oiling them can damage it as well, because the oil, is what it does is it creates moisture with the metal, right? So you don't want metals to get dry and then they're rubbing up against each other, and then they can break. So that's one of the things that he told me about the machine that he kind of noticed with me. Okay, so he kind of caught me on the annual service, because he was like looking at me like, I know I haven't been here every year, and I'm like, okay, so so I already know. He already told me, put a sticker on your machines, which I will be end up doing on each of the machines. Make sure you put October 2024, so when was the last time I was here, and when you have to call me so I can come back and service those machines for you. So make sure you do them on an annual basis. It really is important, because you invested a lot of money on these machines. So the last thing you want to do is lose the money on machines just because you didn't do what you should have been doing. Okay. So anyway, so make sure you do it annually. Make sure that you are oiling your machines correctly. Okay. The other thing is the air cans. And I already kind of touched that on a little bit. Air cans can damage your machine, okay? And it is very tempting, and I ain't gonna lie. I even got one in here, which I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my air can, I'm just gonna take it downstairs so I can use it on my keyboard and not my machine. He could tell when you are using an air can, okay? For someone that knows their stuff, because he's been doing this for a lot of years, okay? So, I mean, he can open up a baby, one of those machines, and he looks on the side and he's like, air can. She's using the air can. So air cans can be very dangerous. All right. So the reason why is because what it does is it actually pushes the lint more inside of your machine. Okay. And you don't want that lint to hit in there. So it can build up, it can damage other areas of your machine. So especially if you're not going to get it serviced on a regular basis, they're, when they take it out, I mean, when they take it apart and they start vacuuming, they'll get all the lint. But the thing is, if you don't do it on a regular basis and stuff, the lint's going to continue to build and build and build. And if you are using that air can all the time on your machines, what you're doing is you are just creating more clunks of lint inside of your machine, and you don't see it, you don't know it, because you have the plastic over the machine, so you don't see the buildup. All you see is that little area that you're trying to clean, where your bobbin area is. So what happens is when you're spraying in there, that area looks spotless, right? And you're thinking, oh, wow, I'm all clean. But the thing is, inside where it's all covered, that's where all the lint went, okay? And it is piling up, and you don't want that, because it can really, really damage your machine. So that's the third one, okay? The fourth one, which is really, really important, run your tension test, especially on embroidery machines and even on sewing machines, okay? Make sure that you take scraps of fabric, make sure you run it through that sewing machine, make sure you run it through the embroidery machine, and test your tension, okay? What ends up happening is a lot of people, what they do is they take for granted that your tension is fine. When machines are running, depending on the type of fabric, needle, and thread that you're using, sometimes the tension has to be adjusted, all right? And then next thing you know, you could be embroidering something, and then all of a sudden you see that the white thread bobbin is showing up on the top, and it's probably because your tension shift or the fabric or something. So you have to make sure that you always test your tension. So one of the things that he does is he takes when he came here, after he finishes servicing my machines, he takes one of my hoops, and then he goes and he puts it in the machine and he runs the tension. And oh man, I forgot to pull it out. But anyway, when you run the tension, you want to make sure you look at the back, and then you can see what bars need adjustments and which ones don't. So once you know that your tension is fine on the machine, you are good to go. But you want to at least test your tension at least once a month or something like that. I mean, a lot of times you'll find that your tension is fine, but you never know, right? And my whole thing is, I have had the misfortune of one day not testing the tension, and I just ran it for a long time, and then all of a sudden I just took a garment and I put it in the machine, and before you know it, I saw bobbin thread on the top. It wasn't that big of a loss, because I was actually embroidering with black thread, right? So when I saw that, I was able to kind of like take a little Sharpie and put it on the top, but I kind of, after that, I had said I need to run a tension test, and I did have to adjust the tension on a couple of my needles. And then I was like, okay, but make sure that you do run your tension test, because that is important. It also gives you an indication if something could be a little off on your machine, and then maybe you may need to get it serviced as well. Okay. The other thing is your bobbin case. Okay. Your bobbin case needs attention and cleaning too. Okay. Now, one of the things, and I'm going to take this out, and I want to show this to you. I'm going to take this out right here. All right. So I'm taking this out. Now, here is the bobbin case for my SC 1900. The Juki kind of used something similar to that. I mean, the SC 1900 uses the plastic one. I'm sorry. My multi needles are the ones that use this one, and my Juki SC 1900 uses a similar case as well. Okay. Now, one of the things that I want to point out over here, and I should have got a pointer or something so that I could really show you guys. Let me just use this marker right here. Okay. All right. So let's put this here. All right. I want you guys to pay attention to this section. Now, here is the case, right? So here you have, okay. Here you have one side where you have the two screws, right? Then you go and you turn it over, and this is two screws. Hold on. It's where I'm all mixed up here. Okay, I don't know how to show you guys. All right, here we go. All right, let me hold it right. Here's your bobbin case, okay? This is the flap that opens up, Okay. Now go to this side right here. You're going to see this is that part where you go and look, when I put the bobbin in, when I put the bobbin in, right? Okay. And I take that, there's that little slit on here that you put in, right? And you go through here and then you go up and around right into that little thing. Okay. Now, remember, you have thread that goes in here, right? So one of the things that he has showed me to do is he says sometimes what'll happen is you will get thread buildup in your case. Okay. So what you do is take your case, take a credit card, business credit card like this. Okay. And I'm going to show you, I'm putting it in this little slit, and all I'm doing is I'm just gliding it like this, and then just go like this. And just doing that, you will sometimes see a little bit of lint on the side. And then what you do is you just take it out. Okay. But the thing is, you want to make sure that there is no lint underneath this lip. So what you do is just take a business card, you put it right underneath. And I know I'm probably not showing you. Okay, like that. And you just slide it through. Okay, don't force it in or anything like that. And I don't know if you guys can see, but there is a little bit of lint right there. See? But you just have to see that little lint. Okay, so you just want to make sure that you clean it out. And you just take a little business card and you just slide it in there. That's all. And you'll see the little lint come out. I had some more in there. Okay. All right. So I had some lint. All right. And then you just put your bobbin right back in the case, and you pop it right back into your machine. So if you have a bobbin case like this, okay, make sure that you clean it out. You don't have to do it all the time, but you do want to once in a while take the bobbin out and just run a business card through it just to see if there's any lint under there, and you want to take that out. Okay. So that was the other little tip that I got. The other thing that was mentioned was when you're not using your sewing machines and you're not using your embroidery machines, you should keep your machines covered. You don't want dust to fall on them, okay? You want to try to avoid that if you can, because if you go a couple of months and you're not sewing, the dust can actually fall on your machine, and sometimes it'll fall into some of the areas where there's sensors and stuff like that. You want to prevent that as well. That for me, I don't think, well, I kind of told him, I don't think that really applies for me. It does kind of apply maybe mostly for my Sergers, or maybe my Juki machine, or the SE1900, maybe. Because the thing is, sometimes when I sew, it depends, I don't know, what I feel like using, right? Sometimes I want to use the Juki machine, so I'll start using that. Sometimes I want to use the SE1900, and then I end up sewing on that. So, but my embroidery machines, I mean, they run all the time. Okay. It's like every single day I have all my machines running. So for me to cover them up in the evening and then put them, I mean, they're actually like not working for like while I'm sleeping sometimes, so it's like, but one of the things that he did mention was you should always cover your machines if you're not using them for a long period of time, because the dust can fall on them and you don't want them to get messed up. All right. The other thing that I learned, climate is pretty important, and it can really do damage to machines if you're not paying attention to where you have your machines. One of the things that he mentioned was sunlight. Sunlight can sometimes damage the plastic on some of the machines. Now, my brother machines are plastic, okay, most of it, and that's one of the reasons why they're very light. And because they're plastic, I have to be conscientious of that. I do have them close to a window, but I do always have the habit of trying to keep my shades closed. Okay. And when I do have them open, I don't have the sunlight like directly coming into the room. I kind of position the shades where I get some light, but they're not hitting the machine. One of the things that he mentioned is that you don't want the machine to kind of bake your machine, the sun to bake on your machine, because it can damage some of the parts. So that I did not know. I was kind of like, oh, I didn't know that at all. So I was like, okay. So I was even thinking, all right, so if when the time comes when I decide to utilize that room across the hall, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my machines against a wall instead of having them close to the sun. I mean, the windows. And I'll probably maybe have other stuff by the windows to try to better protect the machines. So, excuse me. So I didn't know about that. I was kind of like, oh, that's cool. But when that's going to happen, I don't know. Because every time, I got to tell you guys, every time I think I'm going to tear down that bed in that room, I get a visitor. So I need the bed. So I'm kind of like, I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to think, I really don't think that's going to happen. So I don't know. Might have to go to plan B, where I may have to purchase another home. So that way I can start sewing from there or something. I don't know. That's the thing. So that was something that he mentioned. I had no idea that climate can play a role. Now, I did know, I mean, to me, I was like, well, sometimes people will say, oh, well, why don't you move your machines to the garage? Well, I live in Northern Virginia. So in Northern Virginia, we have all the seasons, right? So in the wintertime, that garage can get super cold. And in the summertime, that garage can get super hot. So I know climate in the garage for where I live is not reasonable. It's not something that I'm going to be able to do at all. So, so it's just something to always, just think about the climate of where you have your machine position, because you want to make sure that the sun or the environment and stuff doesn't damage the machine. Okay, so the other thing that he mentioned to me, which me and him kind of got into the discussion a lot about, was talking about purchasing right supplies, right? Make sure that when you are purchasing supplies to even help run your machine, use the machine, or even clean the machine, that you are, doing your due diligence, okay? Don't use brushes that are very, very rough, okay? Now, I have a couple that I use, and some are rough, some are not, okay? But the thing is, because I know where I am cleaning, I can I know what to use and where, right? And let me talk to you guys a little bit of some of the stuff that you've heard me talk about in the past. Now, let's talk about this for a minute, okay? These are disposable eyelash mascara brushes, okay? These are disposable. You can get them from Amazon, super cheap, and you get like a whole pack, okay? I mean, I'm talking about a pack. I got a whole lot of them, all right? Now, these are pretty good to clean. However, though, one thing that I want to caution you on, when you run your hand on here, you're going to notice it is a little bit on the rough side, okay? It's not exactly like super gentle and stuff like that. These are good to clean. However, though, you want to be gentle when you are using these. You don't want to be rough. You don't want to go in there and just start, going, jamming it all in there. Because what happens is sometimes you can have certain items in there. Like I know with my embroidery machines, there is a particular hook that is a little bit delicate. Okay, so what I do is when I put this in there, I don't rub this against that hook, because I know that this can pull on it and then I damage the hook and stuff. So I'll just go around it in the other areas that I know is okay with that. All right. And I don't jam it in. I don't force it. And I do use it in a gentle way. So know your brushes. Okay. So if you have something, if you're using something like this, I think it's great because it does grab a lot of the lint. Okay. And, I really love that, it's disposable. You get so many in a pack, you get so much that, and to be honest, even though these are disposable, you can use them more than once. Okay, I think I've only thrown out like one of these, and it was because I accidentally dropped it and I stepped on it and it broke. It had nothing to do with anything else. The this was still intact and stuff like that, and it was cleaning my machines perfect. So it really, I mean, I think these will probably outlive me, honestly. So, these are really, really good to have. The only thing is just be aware that they're not really soft brushes, right? So when you are cleaning, you could possibly do some damage to your machine, but just make sure that you use it gently, okay? Now, the other thing, all right, that I want to show you guys. Now, your brother machines come with its own, your embroidery machine or your juki machine, whatever machines you buy, usually they have their own little brushes that come with it. Those brushes are usually great, okay? They work fine, nothing wrong with them, okay? But sometimes what happens is you want something a little pretty, right? Because you're sewing and all that kind of stuff, and it's kind of like goes with the notions, right? Sometimes, a seam ripper is a seam ripper, right? All it is pulling out the stitches. But when you are into your craft and stuff, sometimes you want something a little dazzy, a little pretty. So, with me, when I bought my seam ripper, even though they get a little pricey, okay, like this is the seam ripper that I get with my brother machines. It works, nothing wrong with it. And you know what's so funny? When I first started sewing and stuff, and I got this, I had no idea what it was. I looked at it and I was like, what's this for? Didn't even know that this opened up or anything like that. And then somebody showed me and said, it's a seam ripper, Jeanette. And I was like, oh, okay. So, so it just shows when you're starting to learn. But see, it's simple. This works. It's sharp. No issues with it. But like I said, sometimes you see stuff and they're a little on the simple side. You want to jazz it all up. So then I went and I got my little fancy seam ripper. And then sometimes when you buy these fancy seam rippers, boy, it's not worth it, because even though I love this seam ripper, okay, and this is a 2-tone, because look, it has this side right here is pointy, and then I got the seam ripper on this one. This one is great and it works great. I think with this other one though, I'll fix this myself, but one of the things that happened with this is I noticed that this came off. So I was like, man, what all the money I spent on this, and it came out. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put some glue, and then I'm gonna slide it in, and I'm sure this baby will be just fine, But I really like this because I thought it was super cute and stuff, but notions, But okay, so what we were talking about, let's talk about the brushes, right? Let's get back to what we were really talking about. All right, the brushes. All right. So, the brothers, just like, I said with the seam rippers, sometimes you get the accessories that you need, but sometimes they're not the real pretty ones. This is something that I did, and I think this is a really good idea, and, pretty inexpensive. Now, if you go to Five and Below or the dollar store or something like that, you're going to find like these little makeup brushes. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you what I love about these brushes. Super, super soft. Okay. Well, first of all, they should be soft because these are meant to actually put makeup on your skin, right? But instead of me using for makeup, because I'm not really like too much of a makeup girl, usually what I'll do is I will go to Five and Below, and sometimes they sell these like a set. Okay. So what you can do is you can actually sometimes, the package isn't really closed. You can just open it and you can kind of feel the brush and stuff. And you'll see that these are like really super soft. So because these are super soft, and what I love is that you get a variety of sizes of brushes, right? Because one is supposed to be for eyeliner. I don't know what the other one, I don't know what people use this one for. But I think this is for blush. I don't know. I'm not a makeup person. So anyway, but because it has the different sizes and stuff, and I know that each of these are really, really super soft, I think this is a really good way to help clean your machines, because depending on where you're trying to get the lint, you have different sizes of brushes to help you get that lint out. And I really do like them. And what I really like is they have different styles, different colors and everything like that. So really, jazz it up. So that's something that I recommend, and I think it's pretty cool. The other thing that I tried, and I don't recommend this at all, is I saw paint brushes. Right now, this was like for water brushes. I don't know where the hell I got this from. I think I got this from Carnito when Carnito was a kid and stuff, and it was probably a little brush set for watercolors and stuff that he didn't use. But when I touched this, okay, I could tell that this is a little bit on the rough side. Now, I do have it here, but honestly, I never really pull it out. I don't even know why I have it in there. I should just take it out. But, it is a little bit on the rough side when I feel it. It's not something that I would probably recommend. So paint brushes, stuff like that, stay away from those because the brushes are a little bit on the rough side and it can really do damage to your machine. So I recommend that if you have a 5 and below or even a dollar store by you, look at those brushes, because I'm gonna be honest, I think these fit the bill and they are really super soft. So I think they will work really, really well. So yeah. So that's a good accessory. So a little bit more about purchasing the right materials and stuff like that. Okay. The other thing we had a discussion about is we were talking about threads, right? Because I know that sometimes when you are embroidering, sometimes people experience a lot of shredding. One of the things that he mentioned to me was he said he can always tell when the thread is somebody ordered it from Amazon and stuff like that, or it's coming from an inexpensive vendor, right? And I'm like, how the heck can you tell that? And he said it's always going to have a clear cone. And I was like, what? And I gotta show you this because it's so true. I was like, wow. All right, so he said a clear cone, right? And I was like, a clear cone. Well, I looked at my brother thread. All right. Brother thread, clear cone. Okay. However, though, this has the white cone, right? But he was like, well, white, clear, whatever. One of the things that I did share with him was that even though I think that the thread is good to start off with, the quality can sometimes, it's okay, but then, it can be an iffy thing. One of the things that I shared with him too was that sometimes I noticed that when I buy the thread from Brother, Smith Sim Threads and Brother Threads, you order a box, right? But sometimes what happens is you don't get the same color. Okay, it's like somehow they changed the color dyed and stuff like that. And I showed him this, so he was thinking, well, do you think that maybe the person just processed it wrong? I said, I don't know. I'm not sure. But I will tell you that I told him moving forward, what I usually do is I will continue to use this brand because honestly, I have not had an issue. He did say that sometimes certain machines can have issues with certain brands. And I've heard that a lot. And I've seen that from people through Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So he was like telling me, sometimes it really is best to spend that extra money to get good quality thread. And honestly, I do agree with him. However, though, one of the things I told him was, you know how broke I will be if I end up spending money on every freaking color out there, because the good quality thread costs money. I mean, it is really, really expensive. Like I saw that, I don't know if you guys know of Bob that is part of our Facebook group. He went and he splurged on a Madeira set, okay, and I think it was about over $2,000, and it had all the colors of Madeira, and it came in a draw set, beautiful colors and everything. However, though, like I said, it's $2,000. That's a lot of money. So one of the things that I told him was, moving forward, I will continue to use these threads because I haven't really had an issue with them. First of all, they work good on my machines. I haven't had a problem with them not working well on the machine. These colors do not bleed. I have never had a customer come to me and say, the colors are bleeding on my shirt or anything like that. And if I do buy, if I find a color that, if I have to replace it, or if there's a color that I use a lot of, I prefer to invest in the big comb. So one of the things that I always tell folks, especially if you're running an embroidery business, or even if you're starting out, I always prefer that, I always tell people it's smart to start off with like a small set, right? Just to start off. And then as time goes on, you can start to build your inventory. Now, one of the things is these small spools, sometimes you look at them and you don't think you can embroider a lot, but you really can. But they will eventually run out. And usually what I like to do is, if I have a color that I use a lot, okay, and I know that I'm going to be using it more in the future, I usually, what I'll do is I will go and buy the big combs. And when I buy the big combs, I usually buy 3. The reason why I buy 3 of the big combs is so that I can have one comb for each of my machines, because I have 3 multi-needle machines. So if ever I need to embroider something for a customer and I need that particular color, if I only buy 1 comb, I can only run it on 1 machine. But if I buy 3, then I can have all 3 machines running and embroidering that logo or whatever it is that needs that particular color. So that's why I buy 3. The other thing though is I will always match it with the Madeira, and then I'll go ahead and I'll buy the Madeira. The other brand that I do like a lot is a Florina. I think the Florina are very good quality. They have them in my sewing shop, and one of the things that I do love about that thread is that every time I use it and I need to rebuy it, and I go to the sewing shop and I know the number, that thread is always exactly the same. There is nothing different about it. I'm not going to end up with this problem, okay, where I have one light and I have one dark. That will never happen. I haven't experienced it yet, okay? So it's like if I need a color 502 in Florina, and I go over to Susie's quilt shop, and I tell her, hey, I need a 502, she pulls it out and it's the exact. And it's really the same like when I get the Madeira thread, okay? You got your number, you order it, and when it comes in, it's the exact color. There is no deviation from it. The quality is always the same. So that, I totally got what he was saying with that, and I totally agree. Sometimes you do get what you pay for, right? Because you got to remember, these threads, they are inexpensive, okay? You can always get them, at Amazon at a really good price. And sometimes I really wonder if you actually like get them from the same place, right? Because sometimes the box will look different. Sometimes the comb looks a little different, and the color is different. Okay. So, when it comes to your threads and stuff, you got to make sure that, you are purchasing threads that work with your machine. You don't want something that's gonna, get a lot. And I've even asked them about the shredding, okay? Because sometimes I get that. And some of the things that I noticed too from my experience, when you are embroidering, right? And then you see that your needle and the thread starts to shred, it could be one of 2 things. It could be that you're gonna have to, something's wrong with the thread, okay? Because if you look real close to the thread, okay, and you're going to see a pattern on that thread. Okay. It's not just a straight thing. There's some kind of braiding that's going on with embroidery thread. You got to look at it real close. You're going to notice, the circling, right? There's a little pattern of the circling. Sometimes that can unravel. And when that unravels, what happens is that's when you start getting the shredding. The other thing can be also the needle. Okay. Sometimes if you are using 40 weight thread and you put that on a 65/9 needle, what can happen is that the thread could be a little bit too thick for that eye of the needle. And then what ends up happening is it'll start to shred. All right. So you got to pay attention to those 2 things. So I kind of noticed that when the thread starts to unravel, usually what I'll do is I will pull a lot of it, okay? Well, not a whole lot, but just about 12 inches. And then I will feel it, okay? You can feel the thread with your fingers, and you can kind of notice it and see if it's starting to unravel in a certain area. So you want to pull away from that area, right? Because once it's unraveled, you can't do anything about it. Just stay away from that section of the thread. But then what you do is then you make sure that the section that is not unraveled, that is what gets threaded into the needle, and then you can continue to embroider. Because that's usually most of the time when I see that my thread starts to unravel, that's when I get the shredding. So it's not, and it's not anything that you did. Sometimes it could be the needle too, maybe changing the needle could work, or it could be the material and stuff like that. Another thing you can do to prevent the unraveling is slow down the machine. We also talked about the speed of the machine. A lot of times what happens is when people are embroidering, they don't understand that the machine doesn't have to run at top speed all the time. And sometimes it shouldn't, okay? Because you could accidentally, the machine can skip stitches and stuff. You want the machine to calmly be able to embroider the design, okay? There have been times, and I was showing him some of the designs, especially the dog design that was the most challenging. One of the things that I told him was that what I do is I set up my embroidery machine so that when there are certain sections where the thread is 40 weight and I'm using a 7511 needle, what it'll do, it'll go ahead and it'll embroider at like 800 or 900 stitches per minute, right? But if there is a section where if I have small fonts or something like that, where I need the machine to really slow down, I will set it up that when it gets to that needle, it will start stitching at 500 or 600 stitches per minute instead of going that fast speed. Once it is done with that portion, then it will go ahead and it will increase the speed and it'll continue and stuff, which is one of the features that I really love about my machine, is that I have that capability of doing that, of setting the speed per needle. So that way I can have a very detailed design. And if there are certain sections of that design that has to be embroidered at a very slow speed, I can adjust the machine to do that. So, we talked about, the brushes that people use when they're cleaning their machines. Sometimes it's like, he said, some people will go overboard and they'll get paint brushes and stuff. They damage their machines and then they're like, oh, and it can get costly when you damage these machines and you need to get them repaired. So, you got to be conscientious of the supplies that you're using on your machine, and make sure that when you are buying, supplies to clean the machines, that you're using the appropriate brushes. You don't want to really mess them up. Okay. The other thing that he was also talking to me about was the changing of the needles. And you guys have heard me say this all the time and everything. I change my needles all the time. Well, first of all, I embroider a lot, okay? I do a lot of bulk orders. So every 8 hours, you should be changing your needle. So a lot of times when I have bulk orders, as soon as I am done, especially like almost every day, because if I have these machines running at 8 hours, like I know the holidays are coming up, I'm already prepping up. I already see the orders are starting to come in, and I know for a fact that I'm going to be changing these needles probably every other day, or in fact every day. Okay. So people sometimes don't change needles and don't understand the importance of doing that. There are several reasons why you should change your needle. Okay, it can really affect the outcome of your project. Okay, if you have a needle that the point of the needle is bold and it's not sharp, what'll happen is it's going to really puncture a bigger hole into the fabric when it starts to embroider, and you don't want that. You want the needle to be able to go clean into your fabric and out. And when it does that, you get a much cleaner look. But what ends up happening is, I don't know why, but it's like people will buy a pack of needles and they'll get a needle, they'll put it in the machine, and they will use that thing for a month. I mean, and then they'll hear knocking, right? You can actually hear the difference of your machine when it sews, when you have a new needle in the machine versus an old one. When you have an old needle that the point is kind of already balded and stuff, it kind of hears like a knocking. And it's kind of weird because I guess when you do embroidery and you do it a lot, you know what a healthy embroidery machine sounds like. You really do. You can tell. It's really hard to describe, but it's like I could be sitting here and I can be running my machines, and I hear it's like music to your ears, right? So it's like I hear it and hear it and hear it, and then all of a sudden I can hear like the rhythm or something changes in the sound, and I'm like, oh, it skipped a stitch, or oh, there's something wrong with that the machine and stuff. And I can know exactly, I can predict when the machine is going to hiccup or something like that. So you kind of know. And the more you start embroidering and the more you start working with your machine, you know what healthy sounds like. And a lot of times people just don't understand the concept of changing the needle. And I have seen people where they have embroidered a design. There's nothing wrong with the file. Okay. The file is digitized correctly and everything, but they're using an old needle. And then when they are done embroidering it, it looks like the holes where the needles went in, it was bigger. Okay. And it kind of looks a little clunky. And they'll be like, oh, the design didn't come out good. And I asked them, I'm like, well, did you try a new needle? And they're like, oh. And then when they do a new needle, the embroidery comes out a lot more cleaner. So it's something that you really should think about. A lot of times people, I don't know why, but they just do not change their needles, and it can really, it damages the work that you're doing. It can really compromise the quality of your work. So if anything, you should really consider investing in that. The last thing that I do want to mention is third-party products when you are using your machines. Now, when you get your embroidery machine, okay, when I got mine, it came with hoops. They come with their own hoops, okay? I'm not a fan of those hoops. I prefer my Mighty hoops. I love my Mighty hoops. I think they're faster. I think, I like how I can, just really hoop a garment really quickly. And they work great, for logos and everything. So I am a real big Mighty hoop fan. I know they're expensive and all that kind of stuff, but they are third party products. Okay. It's a whole other company that makes them so that people can use them on these machines. However, though, one of the things that he notices, sometimes what happens is people, when they use these type of third party products, they don't understand that it is something you can use with your machine, but it's not something that brother has created, right? So you have to be careful when you're using them. He said he has seen people use hoops and they don't trace to make sure that their design is going to fit within the hoop. They don't trace to make sure that the needle is not going to hit the side of the hoop. That is a really quick way to damage your machine. So one of the things that I always do, and I do it as a practice, I will always trace. Even when I use my snowman, and you can tell when I use the camera and I use the snowman, I can tell that I have that space. But I always hit the trace button because I want to see that needle go down, and I want to see exactly where it's going to land on the fabric within the hoop. I want to make sure that I don't even like the needle to get too close to the edge of the hoop, because I just don't want to chance it. I just don't, because I know that once that happens, I can really damage my machine. And then next thing you know, I got Justin coming right back out. So, people do damage their machines a lot when they are using third party products, when they're using, fast frames, dookie frames, all kinds of stuff, you have to make sure that you get into the habit of tracing. Make sure you are being very, very careful when you are embroidering on these products. It's not that they're bad products. They are all great. Trust me, I have them. I have the dookie frames. I have the fast frames. I have, all of the hat hoops. I have tons of mighty hoops. I mean, the mighty hoops is all I use. I don't even use Brothers hoops, okay, because of hoop burn, okay. That's really one of the reasons why a lot of people prefer to use mighty hoops than the regular hoops from Brother, because when you are embroidering the shirt with the stabilizer, sometimes what happens is you can end up with a hoop burn. With the magnetic hoops, not so much, okay. I have heard that sometimes people have gotten some hoop burns with the mighty hoops. I personally haven't, but I have seen it. I know with the old traditional hoops that these machines come with, you can get a lot of hoop burn, and they aren't easy to actually hoop. Sometimes what happens is you'll be trying to hoop a garment, and it shifts on you and stuff. It can get kind of tedious. With the mighty hoops, everything is so simple with their station and everything. It's just like they just snap together because they're magnetic, and they're just really, really easy to use. The only thing, like I said, is you just got to be mindful that you got to remember these are mighty hoops. They're from Midwest, okay? They're not Brother. They're a product that's created to work with the machine, but you still have to be smart enough to know to always check. It's very similar to when I tell you guys, hey, when you go and you buy a design, a lot of times people buy them and then they say, oh, I don't have to test the design. It's going to come out great. And then next thing you know, they put it on one of their products, they embroidered it, and it looks like crap. And they're like, oh, I just messed up my blank. Always test stitch your designs and always trace your hoops, because if you don't trace your hoops and you hit that embroidery button and you walk away, and sometimes even if you're in front of the machine, you may not hit that stop button fast enough for that machine to hit the side of that hoop. Mighty hoops are very, very strong hoops. They're very, very strong. Okay. They're not, they're not made out of cheap material. Okay. So, and a lot of these other magnetic hoops and dookie hoops, they're made out of steel. Same thing with the fast frames. You don't want your machine to hit the size of those frames. It can jam you up. And you're not going to be happy. Okay. Be gentle with your machines, because remember, if you take care of your machines, then they will take care of you. It's kind of similar to a car. You don't get, if you drive a gas car. I mean, I have an electric car, so I don't go through that, but it's really kind of the same thing. If I don't take my car and I don't plug it in, well, guess what? I'm not going to have too many miles. And the thing is, same thing with a gas car. If you don't put the gas in it, you're not going to go far. And, if you are driving your car and you have a gas car and you don't change the oil, well, you're going to mess up your engine and all that kind of good stuff, right? So I'm just saying, hi, Mello. So Mello's here. Hi, Mello. How are you? You're okay? All right. So, just make sure that you take care of your machines. Like I said, these machines cost a lot of money. A lot of people, sometimes they don't get them because, a lot of people, it's $15,000 a machine. That's a big amount of chunk change. It's like buying a car, right? So, you don't want to spend that kind of money and then have fun with the machine when you first get it, and then you're not taking care of it, and then next thing you know, you kind of messed it up. You know what I'm saying? So it's just something that I wanted to share with you guys, because that's what I had going on this week. Because I was like, the holidays are coming. Already the orders are starting to roll in. Okay. I already know that I'm going to have to keep these machines running. I know I'm going to be working like a horse. I already know it. I'm trying to truly mentally prepare myself, because I still work full time. And so I'm going to have to, really take, I already told myself, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a walk in the mornings. And after I get off work, I'm going to take another walk every day just so that I can get myself mentally set and then do what I got to do, right? Because the thing is, you got to do it. You can't complain about it. You can't, whatever. You just do what you're supposed to do. So I already know. I mean, here we are. Halloween was yesterday, guys, and the next holiday is Thanksgiving. And this year has flown by so fast. It truly has. Okay. And I'm like, wow. And I already passed my 1 year anniversary working with the Army. And I was like, shoot, that's pretty cool, So yeah, so it's like I know that now that Thanksgiving is around the corner. Yep, you best believe. What am I getting orders on? I'm getting a lot of dinner napkin orders. Okay, now everybody's thinking Thanksgiving. They want to dress up their Thanksgiving table. I already got neighbors that have reached out and they want to place their orders for their dinner napkins. So I'm going to have these machines running full speed, because usually when people buy the dinner napkins, they usually buy them in sets, right? Sometimes I get 6, 12. I've even gotten requests for 24 of them. So dinner napkins is gonna be pretty big for the next couple of days while here. And I knew that this was gonna, it's the time, right? Every year this time it's nonstop. So because I knew that, and I knew that I had already passed that year of servicing my machines, I was like, I don't want to chance it, because the last thing you want is to be in the middle of an order and then you don't have a machine. Even though I would probably be okay, because I have 3 multi-needles. So if one goes down, I can have 2. But the thing is, every machine that you add to your inventory saves you on time. So, I can end up with, because I have 3 machines, I can have 3 dinner napkins embroidering at the same time. So if you were to ask for a set of 6, I would just have to hoop each machine twice and I'm done. Okay. As if one of my machines go down, then, and I have 6, then that means each of the 2 machines that I have remaining will have to be hooped 3 times. And that takes longer. So the longer it takes for me to process one order, then that means the other order has to wait longer. So, I want to make sure that the machines are all in tip-top shape, because when the orders come in, I got to get them done. I've already have a couple of customers also that, local orders that are not holiday related, small businesses that want me to embroider their garments and stuff. So I'm still taking those orders right now. I will stop doing those orders, I believe, after Thanksgiving. After Thanksgiving, I'm not doing small business orders anymore. I can't do the bulk orders for the simple fact that during after Thanksgiving till Christmas, I'm going to end up getting a lot of those online orders. And I'm also going to have to work on orders from people locally that want Christmas stockings and blankets and all that kind of stuff embroidered. So I'm not going to have, I want to have the machines available for that. So after Thanksgiving, what I will do for those customers is I will let them know that after the holidays are over in January of next year, I will be able to process their orders. I mean, they're welcome to bring them to me, but I just won't be able to process them until after the holidays, because especially with my online store, when you have an online store, you have to mail those orders out by a particular date. I don't do the next day delivery, even though a lot of times I do the next day delivery, because as soon as I get an order in, I process it right away. I don't let orders sit. I don't like to do that, because it can turn into what happens is, if you let an order sit and then more orders come, then before you know it, you're kind of like bombarded. And then instead of just working one order at a time, now I'm working like 10 orders at a time. And I don't like that, because then you feel the pressure and all that kind of stuff, and it can get more tiring. So usually when the order comes in, as soon as it comes in, I print it out. I check the information on there, make sure that the shipping address is good, make sure that if there's any type of personalization, that they spelled everything correctly. That is one thing also that I do tell people to always do, because customers make mistakes. Like I had one lady that she wanted the baby blanket with the name Cody on it, which was Codie. And when she placed the order, she said all she wanted was CODE. She didn't put the IE. She put that. But in the gift card, she put CODIE. So I was like, okay, so is it with the I or without the I? So usually when I get an order like that, I will always email the customer directly, and then I'll say, hey, I noticed you kind of spelled the name different on the order versus the gift card. What is the correct spelling? If the customer does not respond to me in those situations, I cancel the order. The reason why I choose to do that, because you can always come back and say, well, you ordered it that way. I don't want to get into that argument with the customer. The thing is, I want the customers to get a good product from me. That's what I want them to get. So usually what I'll do is, if there is any type of misunderstanding and I can't get in contact with the customer to make sure that we can resolve it, and I have the order correctly, I will cancel that. And and if the customer wants it, they'll reach out. And that's happened. That has happened where they wrote the name one way, and then they wrote something else, and I'm like, doesn't look right. Or I'll email them, and then I'll say, hey, I just need a confirmation to make sure that I have the personalization right, and please respond by 24 hours, or I will have to cancel your order, because I don't want to send it to you and then you spelled it wrong, and then I embroidered it the way you said it and it was wrong. I don't want an unhappy customer like that, because sometimes too it could be gifts. Some of these orders can be gifts, and it could be that they have a baby shower to go to, or baptism is coming up. They don't have that luxury of time to you create it, and then they wait for it to come in the mail, and then when they get to the mail, they're like, oh my god, it's wrong, that's not what I wanted and stuff. I don't want them to be in that position. So I prefer to communicate with them, get the right information. If they don't respond, I will cancel it. Usually when you cancel it, you kind of get their attention, because right there they're like, why did I get my money back? And then they'll reach out to me, and I'll tell them, oh, you didn't respond, and I wanted to make sure I got the order right. And then they'll reorder it the right way, and then I get it to them, and then I usually ship it out. But usually, like, when those usually happen with the baby blankets for me, but the baby blankets, I always send it out priority shipping. So usually it's always next day, so it's not really a big deal, you know what I mean, and stuff. So yeah, so those were the tips that I got, and it was really funny because Justin reached out to me today, and he was like, hey, I don't mind doing a live with you. And I was like, oh, that would be like so awesome, because I know that there are so many people that have questions about the machines, particular Brother machines. If you own a Brother machine, and he works on other machines, he doesn't just work on Brother, but he said that he will do a question and answer, and he, then that would be like really, I think that would be really, really cool, because I'm sure there are so many people out there that, have questions on how should I take care of my machine, and I was even thinking, like, what was, the worst thing you saw as a repairman, right? Of washing, because he has been doing these machines for years. I think he has over, 15 years that he's been fixing sewing machines, something like that, and very, very knowledgeable, and he loves what he does. He just loves it. So I would love to have him on the show, and he said that he would definitely do a live. And I was like, okay. So I told him what I would do is I would let you guys know that we're planning on doing a live. It's either going to be in January or February of next year, because right now he's kind of really super busy, because he is running around all over the place, because everyone is asking for their machines to be maintained right now, to run the maintenance and stuff, because everybody's getting ready for the holidays, you know. So he is kind of really booked until I think till January, February. So I told him, I said, just let me know when, and I will pick a Friday so that I can bring him on here, and then you guys can meet him, and you know, he can introduce himself to you guys, and just, you know, give you guys some tips on, you know, what to, you know, what you should look at, you know, when you're looking at your machines and stuff like that and everything. And if you guys have questions, just let me, you know, just write them down in the comments of this video and stuff, because I did tell him, I said I will let people know, so that way I'll gather all the questions and everything, and then during the live you can answer them for them. And even though we always have the chat, guys, we got the chat going on, and you guys can always put the questions on the chat, and that way he can answer them too. So I think that would be really cool for all of us to, like, you know, have a conversation with him, you know, to learn about more about our machines and how to really properly care for them, because I know I'm always interested in that. And you know, and sometimes you know, he told me that YouTube is a great place to get information on how to fix machines, but he also says sometimes you got to be careful as well, because sometimes you don't get the whole story, and you have to really understand the anatomy. I mean, not the anatomy, the anatomy, whatever, the whole body of the machine. Okay, you got to understand all the parts, because some of the machines can, you know, some of the parts can be very delicate, and if you don't handle it the right way, you can kind of like screw it up. You know, you can miscalibrate, I guess, your machine and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so he kind of like, you know, it was really cool to have him here. It really was. So I know I talked him to death. I really did, because in the moment he got here, because I haven't seen him in such a long time, you know, he was just you know, we were just talking machines and all that kind of stuff and everything. But it was really, really good to see him again and stuff. And yeah, and when he told me today, he was like, you know, I don't mind going on your live if you want to do a live, because actually I really wanted to video him yesterday, but I was afraid to ask, and I was like, why didn't I do that? I should have asked him, you know, because I could have took a picture of him with my machines and stuff like that, but I wasn't, you know, I wasn't sure if he would be okay with that, you know, because sometimes people don't like being on social media and stuff like that. But then when he reached out to me today, I was like, oh, I wish I would have known that, because it would have been perfect. I could have videotaped him doing one of my machines, so you guys could have saw him and stuff like that. So I don't know, we'll figure something out, and I'll try to get him here, so that way we can teach you know, teach you guys how more about your machines and all that good stuff and everything. So guys, I am going to go down the chat and say hi to you guys, and I hope you guys like today's topic, because I thought it would, you know, I was like, let me just talk to you guys about some of the things that I learned yesterday while I was hanging out with him. Well, I wasn't hanging out with him, you know, he was working on my machines, but some, you know, because there was a lot of things that, you know, I learned, and I was kind of like, oh, that's pretty cool. You know, I didn't know, and, you know, there was a lot of things I didn't know, and it's really amazing. You know, I've been embroidering for quite some time, and, you know, and I'm still learning all the time. I'm still learning and everything. So, but it was really cool to have him here and for him to answer the questions. The other thing too, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if you guys see on the top of, I have the 10 needle machines. What I'm showing you right now is the 10 needle machines. On the top of the 10 needle machine, there is a bar right there. Yeah, I got my pen right there underneath. You see that bar right there? That has a little slot that opens and closes. And I remember I was talking with Miss Banks, right? And I was telling her, I said, hey, would you do embroidery on that machine? Do you have that shack opened or closed, right? You open it so that you can thread you can thread it, right? But then you can close it, right? So I've always had it open. Miss Banks closes hers. So I went and I asked him, I said, Justin, should you have that opened or closed? Now, one of the things is he said you can do it either way. He said it doesn't hurt you. However, though, sometimes it does help a little bit with the tension to get you the right tension. So he said he kind of really honestly, he recommends that you go ahead and close it. He also says that it helps to prevent the needle, the thread from tangling sometimes. So I was like, you know what, that makes sense. So I said, you know what, I better close it for now on. So I'm gonna be on Miss Banks' team, and I'm gonna be closing that bar that I have up there. And I hope you guys can see it where I'm pointing. But look at where, let me move you up a little bit here. Okay, here you go. All right. So see my pen, and it's that bar, that very top right here where I'm circling. That part right there. There is a little clip, and you can open and close that shaft. So that is where he said it's best to close it. The other question that I had, okay, which I just want to share with you guys about that. There was a video that I saw a while ago, and it was on YouTube and stuff. And one of the things is the guy was threading that machine, and he said you thread it twice around the knob on the top of the machine. I've always only threaded it one time, right? And then I even asked Miss Banks, and I said, because Miss Banks has the same machine. I said, hey, Miss Banks, because she's been doing this for a long time too. And Justin visits and services her machines. And I said, how many times do you go around that knob? And she said once. And I said, okay, well, that guy that I saw from YouTube, I know he was from Europe. So I was thinking, are the brother machines that are distributed there a little different? I don't know. But I asked Justin, and he was like, nope, just go around that knob one time, not twice, and you're good. So I was like, all right, so I'm doing that right. I just want to make sure that when I am embroidering that top shaft, I need to make sure that I close it, because that will help prevent the the thread from tangling or anything like that. So I was like, okay. So so I love my machines. I really do. This is like, to me, having these machines and just turning them on and doing different stuff and everything, I just love it. I just really, really love it. I really, really do. I think it's like, it's my world. This is like my place and stuff. The only thing is that it's for me, it's like I'm home too much, and I need to start getting out. But I'm okay with that, because I decided that's what I'm going to do every day. Is I want to go for walks in the morning before I start work, which means I'll probably be walking at night because I start work at like 6 a.m. But that's okay. I'll go out and walk just to get my mind set, so I'm prepared for the day. And then when I get off work, just go for another nice little walk, so that way I can mentally prepare, especially because I'm going to be filling all these orders now for the holidays. That can really get overwhelming, and I want to be able to fill these orders, be relaxed, because when you are not relaxed, you feel the tension, and it turns not to be fun. And I don't want to make any mistakes. I want it to go smoothly and everything. So I am truly preparing now. I have already taken stock in my inventory. I'm good on all my bobbin. I'm good on all my threads. I'm good on all my supplies. I'm ready. I am ready. So it's going to be pretty cool. So I'm going to go down, and I want to say hi to everybody on here, and see how you guys are doing. Hey, Robin. Hey, Miss Max. Hey, Jackie. How you doing? Hey, Jackie, how are you? Erica, my favorite coworker and crafter. And for you guys that don't know, okay, last weekend, okay, my buddy Erica was in Manassas, and she had her little shop, okay? She set up her shop. Now, I'm going to tell you something. whoo, that was work. Putting the, you got to set up the tent, you got to do all that stuff and everything. But her cups were, wow. I was impressed. She's got it going on. I was like, oh my God. So I walked around the fair because you got to check out the competition, right? So I was like, okay, my girl got her stuff going on. So I got to walk around. I got to see who else is doing proxy cups. So there was one lady that was doing cups also, but her cups weren't as nice as Erica's. And I know Erica was doing pretty good because she had a lot of customers that came to her shop and everything. So the next time, if any of you guys are in the Northern Virginia area, I'm going to make sure that Erica tells me way in advance the date that she is going to be having her little shop, and that way you guys can help support, because I mean, her cups were gorgeous. I should have took pictures. I took pictures of her in front of the shop, and so I gotta send it to her because she's building her website and everything. But I was so proud of her. I was so proud of her. I was like, oh my God, look at her. I was like, that's her thing. And I could tell Erica was so happy. she was in her space and stuff. And I was like, oh, I can't wait till I retire so I can do something like that, And I looked around and I did not see people offering embroidery services. Now, one of the things with embroidery, though, is a lot of times people like the personalization of it, right? So I know I was thinking to myself, I could do something very similar to that. But what would happen is I would have to kind of tell people this is the website where you can place your order and I mail it to you and stuff like that. So it would be more of a display thing. So I think maybe next year I'll try something like that. Because I think she's given me a little bit of courage now to get a little bit more out there. So I like that would be really fun to meet people and stuff like that. And I don't know, I'm now getting that bug. I know that Marlene does it, who I am like so super proud of. Hey Marlene, how are you? I don't know if you guys know, but she has posted on our Facebook group. She got a bulk order. I don't know if it's your first one, but I think she got like 30 jackets that she has to do. Or is it bags? I think it was bags and stuff. I got to check real quick. But one of the things, I mean, and she posted her first one on the group, which I thought that was like so super awesome. She did a really good job. Let me see. I'm trying to put, every time you want to put something up real quick, you can't do it. I tell you. All right. So it's okay. So it's not coming up. Ain't that something? All right. There we go. I think Marlene, she posted, I think it's bags and stuff. Oh, I really got to get that Mac looked at because it's just too slow. I know there's something wrong with it and stuff. So, yeah, but I think she has an order of 30 and she posted her first one, which came out beautiful, Marlene. You did really, really good. And you got 29 to go. So just enjoy it. Enjoy the process. And girl, don't be spending all that money in one place, okay? I am really, really proud of you. I'm so happy and stuff. And if I remember correctly, I think Marlene does the same thing that Erica does. She opens up her tent and she does like a little show and stuff like that, so that's like pretty cool. Hey Becky, how you doing? Hi Iris, I see Sassy. Hey B Berlin, how you doing? I think I missed your name before. Hey, there's my sister Nancy. How are you? Hey Karen, how you doing? Let's see. What do you do when your needle gets sticky with glue from the stabilizer? Ooh, okay. One thing that you can do, okay, alcohol. Or am I saying it right? Alcohol. It's shoot. You know what the doctors use like to sterilize alcohol? Here's a little tip. Take that, a little cotton ball, right? And just put it, just clean the needle with the alcohol. Did I say that right? You guys know my English. So use that, and then let it dry. It dries really quick, and then that should help. That should help a lot. But a lot of times you shouldn't really get too sticky, okay? And you're getting it from the stabilizer. So I'm wondering if maybe the stabilizer that you're using isn't that great, because I have never really had a problem with mine, but I have heard of it. Okay, sometimes what happens, Marlene, is if you're using adhesive spray, you put too much, it can gum up the needle. Okay, that's what they call it. It's like gumming up the needle. But usually, what people do is they use alcohol to they take a little cotton swab and they just pass it through the needle to prevent that from happening. Sometimes that works. Okay. Let's see. Oh, Robin gave there you go. Yep, there you go. Oh, look at that. See? Ding! Great minds think alike. That is exactly what, yep, that works. The backpacks to do. Done 2 so far. Enjoy that process, Marnie. I'm happy for you. Hey, JCL Crafts. For you guys that don't know, she was AKA the Crafty Puerto Rican. She has changed her name on the channel. She's now JCL Crafts. So be sure to subscribe to her channel too. I love her channel and stuff. And girl, we got to get together and hang out. We really do. Hey, Mark Mallory or Malcary. I'm bad today with the names. I don't know what's wrong with me. Oh my God. Going to watch on TV while cleaning up tonight. Hope everyone had a great night. Aw. She got me on the big screen. She got her sister on the big screen. Oh, this way. Hey, how you doing? Yes, guys, if you guys like the information that I shared with you guys tonight, and I hope you guys didn't find it too boring. At first I was thinking about it. I was like, they might think that's boring. It's like you're talking about cleaning a machine and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is, I was like, you know what? Even if you guys think it's boring, I'm just going to tell you anyway, because you got to do it. Okay, you got to take care of those machines, so I hope you did like the topic and stuff. So please hit that like button. And if you have questions that you guys want me to ask Justin for you and stuff like that, please put them in the comments of this video below and I will go through them. And of course, when Justin does come live with me, okay, and to talk about the machines and everything, you can always type those questions in the chat, just like you guys are doing right now. And I'm sure me and Justin will go right through them and we'll answer all of them for you. Okay. Yep. Happy Halloween. It is Friday. Let's see. Hey, Joyce, how are you? Let's see who else is out there. Hey, Angela and Stitches. How you doing? I have contacted my technician. I'm hoping it come out tomorrow for my annual maintenance. Getting ready for those holidays, huh, Angela? I know. I'm telling you, this is the time to do it. If you have to get service on your machine, this is the time to do it. The last thing you want is for your machine to go belly up during those orders. That is for sure. Yep, they do. And I do get the oil from them. And this is the other thing too that I found interesting. When Justin was talking to me about oils, okay, I was showing him what I use, and I told him I like to use this one because it has a small. Yeah, let me put my hand on it so you guys can see. See how small and thin that is. So I was like, well, I have a small drop. Now, he did tell me one thing that I found interesting. He said he prefers to use, he said, not these. He said, these are not bad, but he said he likes the ones, he said, for like this, because you get to see the oil as it leaves and it goes to your machine. The problem that I don't like about these is that I feel like you can really, when I look at the way I cut it, right? When I squeeze this oil out, sometimes I feel like a whole bunch came out. And I feel like it's harder for me to control. So it could be that with him, because he does this for a living, he knows exactly how to tilt the bottle and how to put the oil on it. But with me, I mean, I do embroidery for a living, not the oily like that. But his bottle was a little different. He had a bottle and he had like a little skinny plastic thing. And you could tell when the oil was going to the tip. So he was able to control it. So I guess that's just how he knows how to do it and stuff. Me, I told him I kind of prefer this because when I squeeze this, I could see when I squeeze it. I'm not going to squeeze it because I don't want oil to fall out, but I can see the little drop build right here. So when I put it against the thing, I know I got one drop. But he says sometimes it depends on the squeeze. So he was telling me, be careful how you squeeze it, because sometimes you think you got a drop, you got a little more than a drop. So I was like, all right, so it's good to know. It's good to know. But I said, but I really do like these. But I'm going to look at some other oilers to see if maybe I could get a better one. But, you know, I do go through these a lot because, you know, you're oiling your machines every day. And I have one here in my cart solely for my embroidery machines, and then I carry another one for the juki machine. But I got a feeling that he kind of told me you're over oiling the juki machine. So I was kind of like, oh. So I think I'm gonna put one of these away, and then I'll just use one. And you know, he told me just oil the hook on the juki machine. So I'm like, all right. But yeah, so, but oil, and this is the other thing too, guys. Make sure you're buying machine oil, okay? Not cooking oil, not any other type of oil, okay? There's a lot of different oils out there. Make sure that you are actually using sewing machine oil, okay? You don't want to damage your machine. So I just want to put it out there just in case. Greasy garments from over oiling. Yep. And that's exactly what he said. Sticker your machines annually after servicing them. Yes, and that's exactly what he told me to do. And he told me, he said, just take painter's tape, stick it on the side of the machine, and just write down the date that I last came. You know, because I told him, I said, oh, I'm gonna put it in my little book. He's like, you could put it in your book, but he said, but sometimes if you actually put a sticker and you put it on your machine and you see that date, it's more visible. And I was like, you know, he's got a point, because it's in your face. It's in your face. So as soon as next year pops around and I see that October's rolling around, I'm like, okay, so I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to take painter's tape. I'm actually going to put October 2025, and it's kind of very similar concept of when, you know, I used to have my Toyota. I used to drive a Toyota 4Runner before I got my Tesla. So one of the things that they used to, you know, and I think I'm not sure if they still do it, but I remember when I used to go for my oil change, they would put a little sticker on your windshield, right? And it would say, once you get to this mileage, you got to come back for oil changes and stuff. So this will be my sticker for my oil change, well, really maintenance thing for all of my machines. So all of them are really the same date, but I'm actually going to put a sticker on each one. So that way it's really in my face. Okay. But that's exactly what I'm going to be doing and stuff. Hey Cindy, how you doing? Canned air can blow threads to the wrong area. Yep. And that's what he said. Yeah, because he told me. And you know what's funny is I had an air can here in the room. I don't know if he saw it, because I remember the first time he serviced my machine, he told me, you know, you shouldn't use an air can because the air can kind of pushes the thread all the way back to the machine, and it makes it harder for you to get the lint out. So what you're doing is you're collecting the lint collects in the back of the machine, and then I see it when I take out the plastic and I start to vacuum it in. And when he told me, I was like, well, I kind of use it. He goes, yeah, I know you do. That's why I'm telling you. He was vacuuming it away. He goes, see, look at all that. And I was like, oh, now I kept the can in here, but I have not done it. Okay. Have not done it because when he actually showed it to me. And I will tell you, that's one of the things that I like about Justin is that when he comes and services your machine, he, if you ask him to, he will explain what he's doing, why he's doing it, and tell you the things that you need to watch out for. And that to me is really, really helpful because it really makes you understand. It's kind of like when your parents tell you, don't do something, right? Sometimes you feel like, oh, they told you not to do something because they just don't want you to do it. No, it's not that. They tell you that for a reason. So when he kind of explains to me, like, don't use the air can, and I'm like, well, why? Because it looks so clean when I go to put the bobbin in. He goes, oh, yeah, it's clean, all right. And he was like, come on and look at this. And then when I saw the back of the machine and I saw that extra lint, I said, oh, now I see. And he goes, yeah, because when you use the air can, you are actually cleaning that area, but it sometimes what happens is the lint, it doesn't, you're spraying air in, right? So the lint is not going to come out. The lint is going more into the machine and is going into the areas that you don't see. So the area that you want to clean, you kind of cleaned it, but the thing is the dirt went inside the machine, it didn't come out. That's why when you're brushing the lint, you're supposed to be brushing the lint out of the machine, not in. So you got to be careful how you brush too, because what you want to do is you want to take the lint out. I've seen people take the brushes, right, and they go into the machine and they just jam it in there and they just go like that. And what you're doing is you're pushing the lint more into the machine. So what you want to do is you want to go in and push the lint out and stuff. And I know sometimes it feels a little awkward because you're like, oh, you're taking the stuff out, but you kind of, you got to do it that way because the thing is you don't want your lint inside your machine. You know what I'm saying? You don't want it in there. So it's important for you to really know how to properly clean it and stuff like that. Yeah, I've always been told, yep, in any of the machines. Yep. But people do it. People do it. I mean, hell, I did it. I know someone whose older machine caught on fire from buildup from threads and lids. Yep. And he said that. And this is the thing too. When the lint is built up in that machine, and if you're not servicing it, right? Let's say that you're using the air can and you're always putting that lint in there, right? It's building all up. And let's say 4 or 5 years. Could you imagine 4 or 5 years, the amount of lint that's in there? I mean, you could easily catch on fire and stuff like that. So you don't want to. You always want to make sure, and this is an investment. I'm telling you, these are big bucks, so you want to make sure you take care of what you invested in and stuff. So, yeah. Hey, Rita, how are you? How you doing? Hey, pretty eyes, how are you? This piece of metal that tightens up the bobbin case is spring steel. You definitely don't want to bend it. Yes, that is the part. Yes, that's the one that's in there. And I mean, you can always get extra, but this is the thing too. These pieces, they can last you forever if you really take care of it. You can always buy replacements, but you really want to. But the person is right. You got to be very careful. That's why Justin said, when you're cleaning this out, just use a card and you just slide it in. You don't force it. You just slide it in, and it's to take out any lint that could be in there. You don't bend it over or nothing like that and stuff like that. But yeah, I gotta put this back in my machine and stuff. So yeah, I'll leave it right here that way. Okay, so let's see. Let's keep going down. Hey Deborah, how you doing? Hey Peggy, how are you? Oh, and then, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about the gift exchange. Okay, as you guys know, the name's been drawn. Okay, so for those of you guys that are participating in the 2024 Esther gift exchange, okay, this is our 4th year doing it. I believe, and I don't have it up. Okay, so I believe we have, I don't know if we got 50 people that's participating this year, or maybe it's 40. I'm not sure. I don't know the right number, but it is closed. The registration has been closed. The names have been drawn. Okay. So I checked this morning. 11 people have not looked to see who they have been assigned to. If you don't know who the person is that you're supposed to be sending out a gift to, let me know. Reach out to me on Facebook. A couple of you guys already reached out to me. It's okay. Don't worry. You're not bothering me. Okay. I just want to make sure that everyone knows who their assignment is. And you should start working on those gifts. Remember, we're supposed to be mailing them out. Oh shoot, I gotta look it up. I know the date is on the Esther thing. Yeah, this machine is bad. I'm gonna definitely have to do something with this. This is the Mac that, and I love my Macs, but this is the one. I don't know why. This is like so slow and everything. But it's like sometimes I just want to take it and I just want to toss it out the window. I do. So I know it's probably something really simple. I probably just gotta clean it or something. But it's just like really like so okay. So now we're down to 9. Okay, so I'm looking right now. There are 9 people that have not checked. Okay, that have not seen the drawn. How many people do we have in here? This is like, I don't know if it's the internet or something. This is just not working for me. This isn't working for me today. Of all days, why do I keep getting that? I don't know. Hold on. I think there's 40 of us that are your exchanges. Hold on. I'm looking now. Okay, 2024 exchange. Where is it? See, full list. I think, yeah, we got 40. There's 40 of us. And 9 folks still have not checked to see who they are. Yeah, 9 guests have not viewed their draw yet. Okay, so if you don't know who you are supposed to be gifting to, let me know. Gifts are to be mailed out December 6th. Okay, and the show and tell of where we get to all go online and we all get to show off what we got would be on December 20th. Okay, that Friday. So I'm pretty excited. I'm going to sew again this year. I want to actually start sewing and everything. And guess what I got too? I want to share it with you guys. I got another set. Okay, I got another set of quilts of the quilt squares for my girlfriend. For those of you guys that don't remember, I tried to do a live where I was trying to sew my girlfriend a baby blanket and I broke the needle. Justin even tried looking for that part of the needle for me yesterday because he did the maintenance on my SC1900 and he couldn't find it. So I was like, all right, I'm not going to give her that blanket because I don't know where that needle is and I'm not going to chance it, right? So I said, all right, so much for that. So I went and I purchased another set of the same ones, Okay. And I'm actually going to work on this one tomorrow. And I'll do a quick video and stuff. I already have a video that I'm going to be posting tomorrow on making birth cloths. Birth cloths. The blanket that you put over your shoulder so that you're burping the baby and the baby spits up and stuff like that. It doesn't dirty your clothes. That's what I'm making. Okay. So anyway, it's like my English I know is really bad. So I did a video on that. Okay, so that I am editing it right now. So I'm hoping to post that either tomorrow or Sunday. And then I'm also going to videotape me doing this. Okay, I'm actually going to sew this on my Juki machine. I'm not going to do it on my SC1900. I don't want any more needle breaks. And I'm going to use my walking foot to do this. And I want to videotape the whole process. I'm pretty excited about it. I want to try binding. I've done binding on small projects, but I haven't really done it on like a blanket. So it'll be my first time doing that. So that's probably going to be pretty interesting. But I'm not going to do this project live. Okay. So I'm just going to do little, show you guys what I'm going to do, sew it up really quick, and then just show you all the steps. Because if I do this project live, you guys will probably be with me for like 4, 5, 6 hours while I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, so I'm pretty excited. I was really happy that I was able to get the replacement online. I was able to get it right out of Etsy. So I was pretty happy about it. So I'm like, oh, this is like really, really cool because I really like these colors and stuff. And I'm also going to make other baby blankets for her as well and stuff because I like my other quilted blankets and everything. So I mean, I'm planning on making a whole basket. I know she'll be coming to visit me in about like 2 weeks, something like that, because we got tickets to go to a circus. It's an African circus that is taking place, I think, in George Mason University. So we're gonna go see that. And when she comes, I kind of want to have the basket prepared for her and her husband and stuff. I'm gonna also embroider a mama shirt for her with her son's name on the sleeve. I'm gonna use a different style for the mama shirt. I'll videotape that as well so you guys can see how I did it. I think she's gonna really like it. It's gonna be really pretty. So yeah, so that I got coming and stuff like that. So anyway, let me keep going. Let me see. What? Marlene said, I mailed my EFSER today. Forgive me if I'm saying something wrong. Okay, so she was on a roll. She was like, I got the gift already. Oh my goodness. You were fast. You were really, really fast. I tried to clean my machine once. I did it wrong and screwed it up. Margie, it's a learning. It's a process. So you're just learning. So mistakes happen, right? And you can get it fixed. I make children's clothing in addition to embroidering baby blankets. For the clothing, I primarily use my serger and my industrial juki. I really want to start getting my serger done. I mean, I used the serger for the burp cloths. And I did a couple of washcloths, and I used a serger for that too. So I had a lot of fun doing that too. I used the serger that I have, the Airflow 3000. That's the self. Well, it's not self, but it has it's easier to thread. So because I have the Brother 1034D serger in the other room, but I have the Airflow 3000 in here, which is that one right there. And I really like that machine. I really did. I like that machine and stuff. And I really want to start making clothes and all that kind of stuff. I did 2 shirts for myself on the serger, which made me so super proud because I was like, oh my God, look what I did. I was really super happy about that. I had a problem with the neckline. Necklines are a little tricky. But I was able to sew the whole shirt except, the neckline. I got like, a little fold like this, but it's for me. I'm fine with that, so yeah. But I know I need to get more practice into the sewing and everything. Oh, that's a good idea. I use a humidifier in my crafting room. That is a good idea. Yeah, because he did mention the climate, and when he talked about the sun can damage the machines, I was like, oh, but wait a minute, my machines. If you guys see, like my machines are close to the sun. I mean, well, not the sun, the windows, right? But he was like, but he was telling me your. He says, but I do notice because they came. Excuse me, because I'm caught in my throat. He said, sorry, that the blinds, he said, I could tell that you don't have the sun directly hitting the machine. So he said, you're fine. But he said, just don't let it hit the machine all the time because it can damage it. So I was like, oh, I didn't know. Sorry. Oh, Iris, that's a good idea. Think of getting an air when guests come over. I ain't gonna lie, Iris, I thought about getting an air mattress bed, okay? Because they make some good ones now, okay? They make air mattress beds with the coils in it. And I was like, and I thought about that. I was like, I want to get rid of that bed, put it in the basement, and then I'll just pump up an air mattress bed, because they got the real comfortable ones now. But the ones that's coming is my mother. You can't put mom on an air mattress bed, because if I tell my mother when she comes to visit that, oh, Ma, I got air mattress bed, she gonna give me a look, okay? And I'm gonna be like, okay, so you can't put mom on an air mattress bed, that's for sure. You just can't do it, okay? Because mom will be pissed. She's gonna be like, I came all the way out here and you got me sleeping on the floor, because that's how she'll look at it. She'll be like, you ain't got, so can't do it. And the thing is, because I was like, I could take the mattresses, put them in the basement, but then when she comes, then we gotta take the mattresses, bring them back upstairs. So I'm kind of like, I don't know, I'm a little torn, So I'm kind of like, At one time I was like, oh, we need a bigger house. But then I'm like, I don't want a bigger house. I kind of like my home. We've been living here for 14 years. No, 13. 13 years. We moved in 2011. And kind of wanted to be my last home because I feel very comfortable here. I didn't want a real big house because I thought this was fine for just me and Fred. It's comfortable. And I mean, I don't know. It's I'll make it work. I'll figure something out. But I know Murphy beds are the ones that, I even thought about a day bed. I thought about that. Because day beds you can pull out, and then it could serve like a little sofa, for when people come over, they can sit there and stuff like that. And then I can pull it out. I remember me and Nancy, when we grew up, Nancy, if she still watches, she's going to crack up. I remember when me and Nancy used to live at 105th Street and First Avenue in Spanish Harlem, right? My parents, they had a 2-bedroom apartment, and it was small. It wasn't nothing big or anything like that, but it was a small apartment. We had a bigger apartment in the West Side. I don't think Nancy remembers that apartment because she was really little, but that apartment I love. We lived on the West Side at 162nd Street, and the hardwood floors were gorgeous. It was a huge living room, huge bedrooms. I mean, it was big. It was a really huge apartment, and I love that apartment. And then my mom and dad moved out of there, and then we ended up moving to Franklin Plaza, and it was at 105th and First Avenue. And the apartment was smaller. I gotta admit, I kind of hated it. I didn't like it because I was kind of like, this isn't like. I was like, did we get real poor? I mean, we weren't rich back then, but I kind of like when we moved from the west side, we went to the east side. I was kind of like, something happened, you know. Did we go broke or something? Because the rooms got smaller and stuff, and I was like, okay. But when we moved to the east side, me and Nancy had something that I don't even see anymore, but it was called a high riser back then. And it was a bed that it was like one bed and then one bed underneath. And then you pull the bed out and then you rise it up. So Nancy would sleep on one side and I would sleep on the other. And we used to get in trouble a lot because we had to share a room, right? So when we shared the room, we had the high riser, right? Mom would say, okay, it's time to go to bed. And she would hear me and Nancy giggling all the time because I don't know what the hell me and Nancy were doing, but we were a mess. Okay. So we were, she would tell us to go to sleep and we would just be laughing and stuff. And then my mom would get pissed off and she would go, you better go to bed. She would get pissed off and we would just hide under the blankets and stuff. And everything. It was like funny. Mommy was rough. She was a meanie and stuff. But yeah, I mean, we used to have those beds. And what's funny is I was looking for a bed similar to what me and Nancy had when we were growing up. I think now they call them day beds or trumbull beds or something like that, where they have a bed underneath it. Because, I was like, those are pretty good to have as a guest bed, I even thought about getting a sofa bed, but I didn't want a sofa bed because sometimes those can be kind of clunky and all that kind of stuff. And they're sometimes not very comfortable. So, but I think I'm probably going to look to see if maybe I could get something like that, what me and Nancy had when we were growing up. But yeah, those are memories, boy. Those, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. But when you said Murphy bed, Iris, I thought about that. I thought about, me and Nancy growing up in the, in Spanish Harlem and stuff. That was, those were fun. Marlene says she uses the mat. Yep, I use it too, but you just got to be gentle. You got to make sure that you're gentle and stuff. 23 cents for 6. Oh, okay, that's not bad. And those things last a long time. They last a long time. And let me tell you, since you mentioned Teemo, okay? I went on Teemo because I was like, I want some zippers. They sell zipper by the yard. I haven't gotten them yet, okay? So I don't know the quality and stuff. But I wanted some zipper pulls. And I got these zipper pulls. Look at that. And I was really impressed. Because with Teemo, sometimes it could be a little hit and miss, right? Sometimes you order something and, the pictures always look nice, okay? And then you're like, oh, it's okay, I think me and Eric were talking about that once. And it's like, and then sometimes you'll get it and you're like, no wonder it was $1, But this was pretty inexpensive. It's, as you can see, let me just close it. I got a lot. There's a lot in here, okay? There's a lot because I was thinking, oh, maybe I could make like makeup bags or something like that. So there is a lot, but let me pull one out so you guys can see it. Look at how cute. Oh, you guys can't see that. Look at how cute that is. Okay, so these are like zipper pulls, and it has like the little hook like that. And, I was thinking, well, is the hook cheap, and stuff. And I was playing with it and no, they're very, very sturdy, very tight, I was like, oh, okay. These will make really cute, zipper pulls, So, when you make little bags and, there you go. See? Now I got like a cute little thing so I could, open it, close it. Isn't that cute? I kind of like that. So I was like, oh, these are cute. I shouldn't have used the blue one. I should use the yellow one for this one. Yeah, I got yellow in here too. But these are cute, or a pink one. The yellow's okay. I'll use yellow. I love yellow. Yellow's my favorite color. It's a happy color. See? Isn't that cute? So I really, I think for the zipper pull, I got a good deal and stuff. So, since you mentioned Teemo, I ordered more stuff from them. Because I got like zipper by the yard, because I noticed that more people are using zipper by the yard, and I'm thinking that that's probably smarter, because that way you just cut the zipper that you need, the length that you need of the zipper. Sometimes even those zippers, you can get them pretty inexpensive. They're not very very pricey. But I usually buy like zippers by the bag, and then I'll cut the zipper to the length that I need it. But I was like, let me give that a shot and see if that works and stuff. So yeah. Now I'm not too crazy about the gold. I'm not a gold type of person, but I could see it. It matches the back of it. So yeah, but it's fine. It's fine. It's just a zipper pull. Because I don't think it looks that great on a white zipper tab. But it's all right. It's okay. I mean, it's just a cute little charm. I think that's really cute and stuff. So I'm really glad that I bought these. It has I have white, I have purple, red, black. I don't know if you guys can see. Here, let me close it though, because I don't want to like, show you guys and then it drops. But let me show some of them here. But yeah, let me close that here. Okay, so there you go. All right, so see, really cute. I mean, I think this was a good buy. It was like $2 and stuff. Yeah, since since you mentioned Teemo. And and I'm gonna be on. I mean, but it can be like me and Erica was talking about one day. It's like a hit and miss sometimes. She said one day she bought something. I think it was like an ice maker or something like that. She took it back. She said the return policy wasn't that bad either. So I was like, okay. There have been a couple of times when I order stuff and then I got it and I was like, oh, it looks kind of cheesy. But no, I was pretty happy with these zipper pulls. I thought these were really cute, and I was like, oh, I can make some cute little bags with that, and it will come out pretty good. So I was like, okay, so yeah, I was happy with that. Since you mentioned that, for the small spaces and large soft brush for dusting, yeah. Did you ever find the broken? That needle is gone. I am telling you, it's gone. Justin looked for it yesterday. He took he took that SE 1900 part, and he was like, that must have bounced off somewhere. And I'm like, I know. And I was like, and I don't want to, because he was telling me you would know if it was on the blanket. He was like, Jeanette, feel with your hand. And I'm like, I just don't want to chance that. I really don't. So I was just like, I will just go ahead and just buy another pack, which I did, and I'll just sew a brand new one. That's what I'll do. Murphy has twin autumns. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look. Because the thing is, like, Carnito's back home from college, right? So he's back home, he's living with us, and he doesn't want to live upstairs with me and Fred, right? Which I got it. He's 23. He wants his privacy, right? So I'm like, all right. So he's in the basement, and I guess he feels like he's got his little apartment down there, right? Which is all right. It's cool. But so he was like, because at first I thought, is he gonna move back upstairs and stuff? So that's why I was kind of like, I don't want to take his space, because that was originally his room. But then he was like, no, Ma, I really like in the basement and stuff. And then when my sister came to visit, she kind of like saw how he had it all decked out, and she even got him a TV stand. So I was like, all right, I guess that he's staying down there. He likes it down there because he has his own refrigerator and all that kind of stuff and everything. So I'm like, okay. So he's content. So but if I have people visit, then you know I need a space for them to spend the night. So, and I'm like, ugh. So every, I don't know. It's like it's hard. It's like I need to get rid. I want to get rid of the bed, but then every time I'm like, that's it. I'm getting rid of the bed, and then all of a sudden it's like my cousin Betty's visiting, or my mom's visiting, or my sister's visiting, and then I'm like, this bed ain't going nowhere. And I don't want anyone to sleep on the floor or stay at a hotel and stuff, because it's family, it's family. So I'm like, okay, so I'll make do. And I think I will look into getting a twin bed, because a twin bed takes up a lot less space. So that'll probably be better. I think that'll be a better solution. So I'll just have to look and see. I'll figure something out. I will figure something out. See, can you use the magnetic? Yes, you can. You can use it. There is a piece that you will need with it. Okay. Let me show you. Okay. Okay. There's a piece like this. Okay. Marlene. Okay. Now, what does this do? The magnetic bobbins are sideless. Okay. Here. Let me get another bobbin. Oh. All right. Here, let me show you. All right. So, here we go, guys. Lesson on bobbins. All right. So, all right, we got two machines now. Okay. I got my embroidery machines that are multi-needle, and then I have my sewing machine back there. The sewing machine back there uses this type of bobbin. This bobbin has plastic on it on the sides. Okay. This is a magnetic bobbin that I use on the multi-needle machines. As you can see, compared to this, it doesn't have anything on the side. It's considered sideless. Okay. These have plastic. This doesn't. Because this has plastic, okay, if you were to look at them, okay, the plastic gives it a little bit of height. Okay. There's a little bit of height going on in there on both sides. This doesn't have anything for height. All right. So what you do is you take this. You take the part that has the magnet. You're going to place it down. And then you pop this into your machine. What this does is it gives it the height, a little extra height. Okay? Because that way you can sew with this on the SC1900. Okay? So can you use a magnet on an SC1900? Yeah, you can. If you have this part. Then all you got to do is just put it in there and throw this in your machine and you're good to go. Because I use it all the time. I mean, I do have a pack of these, okay? But I stopped buying these because I can use the magnetic bobbins on my SC1900 because I have that part. So what I do is, I'll just, I'll finish off the ones that I have. And then what I'll do is I'll just start just buying the magnet ones and stuff, because I kind of do get them cheap. Yeah, there you go. Keep that set. Yeah, so that's how I do it, Marlene. That's how you do it with that part. Let's see. Hey Debbie. Oh, my son lives in Virginia now. As New Yorkers, we have no idea of the weather range there. He's gonna love Virginia, Debbie. He is. Because I'm a New Yorker, but I moved out here in 1995. I did a summer intern in 1995. Actually moved here in 1996, and I've been pretty happy. See, the seam ripper has a retractable blade. That's why they come out. Oh, okay. That's okay. So that's probably maybe because the blade goes bad and you got to replace it and stuff. But I got to tell you though, it comes out really fairly easy. So it's kind of like, I don't like it sometimes. It gets dull. Yep. Okay. Well, you can get a replacement for that part. Maybe I'll do that, But the thing is, seam rippers are so inexpensive, and there's so many different styles and everything like that. And it's something that you're glad you have, but you hate using it. It's just one of those things. Hey Leslie, how you doing? How you doing, girl? Let's see. Break test any threads given or passed down. Oh, I don't know what that means. And let's see. I have even the cheap thread in the thread cases I got at Joann's. I ordered a comb of sin thread and the color was way different. Yep. I stick to buying Madeira thread now to the other good brands. Yeah, and there's just so many brands out there, Leslie, but that's the thing, is that sometimes you don't, it's like I don't mind using the small threads, the cheap ones and stuff, but the thing is I always look at the project that I'm working on, because if it's something that I'm going to be, I need a lot of thread because I have to make 50 of them or whatever, you don't want to run out. And the last thing I want is to run out of thread. And then when I go to reorder the thread, it's like a whole other color. Like they change the shade in some kind of way. With Madeira and with the Florina, I've never had an issue with any of those two. That's why. I know like Miss Shirley loves the Florina thread. And I don't blame her because it's excellent thread. I mean, it's very good quality. And one of the things that a lot of people like about that thread is the shine. It has some kind of shine to it. So I like it too, especially when I am embroidering like Christmas dinner napkins and stuff. I use Florina for those because of that actual shine. The color is nice, bright. It really gives it a professional look. I also, do like matted threads, but when it comes to like designs where I want a matted look, I'm always into the Madeira. I do the Polython Madeira ones. Madeira, you can never go wrong. That is really what a lot of embroiderers end up using and stuff. I know there's a lot of other stuff out there like the sim threads, the butter threads. Heck, I use them. I've even brought a couple of the candle threads, because I just wanted to see how they were because they were so inexpensive. But sometimes you do have to be careful with some of these cheap threads because sometimes the cheap threads don't run well on certain machines. And also sometimes they even have color bleeds. So, and color bleeds is something you definitely don't want. I've never experienced it, but I've seen some people with color bleeds. And they never mentioned, I really wish sometimes when they showed those, that they have mentioned the brand that they use, because that way I would be like, ooh, I gotta stay away from that one, right? So I don't know what brand it is that I thought I saw like 2 posts in other groups where they were like, I embroidered something and then I washed it and then like the red thread bled through the design, and then I'm like, ooh, that's not good. And of course, I wish they would have. And I know people asked and they never said anything. That what brand they use, because honestly I would have wanted to know, because that way I know for sure not to use that brand. But I know it's definitely not a Madeira thread, and I know it's not a Florina thread, because I have used that thread, and my customers have washed their items and I've never experienced any type of color bleed. Even with the stuff like with the sim threads, I haven't had any color bleeds either. So you just got to really be careful about the thread you buy, and stuff, because you want to make sure you're getting good quality thread. And especially if you're selling, the last thing you want is to have a customer go to you and tell you, hey, I washed it, the color went all over the place, and stuff, because that's not going to be good for business, that's for sure. Can you do a video on how to speed the rest? I think I have one there, Christy. I do already have a video on the channel. I'll look and I'll post it on our Facebook group. If I don't, I could have swore I did one. But I may have videotaped it, maybe not edit it. I have so much video, guys, that I have to edit. And yeah, and because sometimes what I'll do is I'll be in here talking to myself, and I'll just put the camera on and stuff. It's kind of like I make believe you guys are in here with me, and I'll talk to you guys about what I'm doing and all. So then I have it all on these little cards, and I still have to like video set. But I think I posted that one, but I'm gonna double check, because I remember doing the logos. It was a shirt with logos on it, and I had to slow down the speed. But if I don't have it there, I will post it. I know I videotaped it, but it's got to be on the card somewhere, or it's on the channel. But I could have swore that I did that. But yeah, Christy, let me write that down. Needle speed. And then what I will do is I'll post it in the Facebook group as soon as I find that and stuff. Okay. Hey, baby giant, how you doing? Let's see. Oh, I have some threads on pegboards, but I worry about the dust still. The sun doesn't shine on the threads on the pegboards. Yeah, I have bought, since you mentioned the dust and threads, sometimes I wanted to buy sewing threads, right? And I went on Amazon and I saw like a pack of sewing threads. They had all these different colors and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, that'd be nice to have, thread different colors and everything, so that when I start quilting and sewing and stuff, I can sew using different colors. I got that pack, and I got to tell you, I was like, it was the fuzziest looking spools I ever saw. I mean, it was fuzzy. And when I saw that, I was like, I don't know about that. It was like, you could tell it was not good quality. And I'm like, and then I tried sewing with it, and I just didn't like it. And I think it wasn't polyester. I think they were cotton. And it just had fuzz all over the place. And I was just like, I didn't like it. So I don't know. So now what I do is I'll go to Joann's and I buy my sewing thread from there. And I think there's a brand that I like. Shoot, I don't remember the brand. I have it on my other room, my stuff. I'll have to look for it. But do I have it here on my sewing thing? Hold on. Let me see. Oh, there it is. Yep. Okay. This is the brand that I like. Oh, hold on. Oh. Okay. There you go. This is the brand that I like. I think this brand is very, very good. The Gutterman. I like this brand. It's very, very good. Um, I prefer this. So and I like it. I really do. Very, very happy with it. So this is the one that I always use. Now, they do sometimes sell these in different colors, but they have like the little mini pack. So it's like the spools like really little. I have all those over there in the other room where I have my sewing machine. But I usually buy this in like the black and the white because black and white are usually colors that I usually sew with and stuff. Very, sometimes I'll use a color thread, but not often. But I like this brand a lot. This works for me, and I get them from at Joann's. With your little coupon, you can get them at Joann's and stuff. But those are the ones that I kind of like. Those other ones, it was just a no-name brand, and I just saw it because I was like, oh, cotton thread, and when I got it, it just looked so all this fuzz, and I was like, and then all I kept thinking was, oh, that's gonna put a lot of lint in my machine. So I was like, I wasn't feeling that. So I was like, bleh, so yeah. So I'm just gonna sometimes you got to spend the extra money on certain things to get good quality stuff. There's certain things you can go cheap on. Then there's other things you just got to spend that extra money. It's not worth going cheap on that. Let's see. Hey, friend Riley, how are you? I have a brother 6 needle. I've had it for several years. Cleaning is important. It is. It really, really is. And I find that sometimes a lot of times that are really people that are new to it really don't understand the importance of it and stuff. Hey Bob, how are you? Have you heard that the inside of the eyes needles wear out from the thread friction, but also leads to yes, I have. Yes, that's why they say the needles have to change. You got to change your needles. Absolutely, Bob. I've heard that because the eye of the needle is really what's holding the thread, and it's going in and out and stuff like that, and it's rubbing against the needle, so that definitely can cause issues and stuff. Let's see. In high school, in home economics, I don't ever remember changing a needle. You know what? I didn't take home economics in high school. And it's a shame. Those are classes. There's so many classes back in the day that people learned that they don't teach in school anymore. These courses are gone. Like I remember going to high school and they taught you how to write a check. My son doesn't know how to write a check because they do the app. They just transfer the money. When I'm like, well, they're like, oh, I'll app you 20. I'm like, do you? I'll send it through Vino. They don't even write checks anymore and stuff. But and I bet you they probably were, or probably what they did, Leslie, is they probably changed the needles before everybody showed up for class. Who knows? Yeah, but changing those needles is a must. You have to do it because if you don't do it, you can really mess up your machine so bad. Yep, see, yep, Bob said the same thing. Yep, they may have changed them between classes because they probably didn't want the kids messing around with the needles and stuff, because you can drop them, lose them and stuff. Because even when I change my needles here, I prefer that Mello's not in the room at all. So I always have the door closed and I wait till I change all the needles and then I'll have him come in because sometimes the needle can slip out of your hand and it can fall on the floor or something like that. And you don't want it to get in his paw or something, so it can, it can be kind of, dangerous. So I don't change my needle when the dog's around. And embroidery signs can use 10 miles of thread. And you'll need to sew a ton around same degree wear and tear as embroidery. Very, very true. Very, very true. I put the regular hoops in the closet and only use the mighty hoops. Debbie, my regular hoops are in the closet too. They are all of them. And I got so many because every time you get a new embroidery machine, you get a brand new set. And it's the plastic ones. And I'm like, I don't even use those. I don't need them. I use the mighty hoops. That's all I use. Mine are all in the closet as well. They really, really are. I have mighty hoops, but my P art can't use anything over the 711. It's old. Oh, yeah, you have the 650. Yep. You would think the teacher would want us to know how to change the needle and when to do so. We didn't do embroidery in high school, just the sewing. They probably didn't want the kids to mess around with those needles because you know how it is. Kids probably will take it, they'll flip it or throw it around. And then next thing you know, somebody gets hit in the eye, there'd be a lawsuit. Love the fast. I love mine too. I love my fast frames. Takes time to hoop to. It does. The old ones really do. Home economics. Oh my God. And Leslie's like, I love my mighty hoops. Got them when one of my designs in the regular hoop popped out when I was making it. I'm telling you, mighty hoops are really, really, really good. Hey Beth, I repurposed the oak silverware organizer, nailed it to the wall for small silky spools, separating them from larger spools, and saved me from buying another spool stand. There are a lot, yeah. And another thing, since Beth mentioned that, another thing that people are doing is they're going on Amazon and they're buying nail polish organizers, right? Just the walls where they could put the small nail polish. You could use that for small spools. I've seen some people do that, and I'm like, oh, they're cute. But yeah, I'm not getting any more thread. I have now resorted to tubs, as you can see. I think I should go this way. As you can see underneath right here, I have tubs that I get from Michael's, and I store my threads in here. Now I store those tubs by company, right? So I'll have, like, those are Madeiras. I have Brother, and then on the top I have 60 weight. So I try to store them, organize them in some kind of way. But sometimes they do get a little messy because sometimes a customer's looking for a particular color, and if they don't see them on my wall, then I'll tell them, hey, go to the tubs and let's see what we can find there, because sometimes they're looking for a particular green or red or something like that. Be surprised how picky a customer can get. But but rightfully so. I mean, they want their designs to come out nice. Sometimes you got to have that special red and stuff. You need to consider that, Bob, because I'll be subscribing to your channel. You should do that. You should do an embroidery channel because I would love it. I would love to see you do your patches, because I know you do the patches. I know you've embroidered jackets and stuff like that, and bookmarks and all that. I would love to see your channel. I think you should consider it seriously. I'll be a subscriber, that's for sure. Jen, after watching your tutorial for larger meat position hoop on SC1900, I got great results. Oh, Deborah, that's awesome. Yay. Awesome. You are very welcome. I'm glad everything worked out. Hey, Ozzy, how you doing? My technician reprogrammed my Racoma for the mighty hoop, so there's no guesswork when I select the hoop for my design. Works great. There you go. Always trace, though. I always trace my designs. Better be safe than sorry and expensive to repair. It is. Sorry, I'm back. Hopefully you guys didn't. I don't know what the heck happened. I think I may have hit a button by mistake. Sorry. Okay, but I'm back. I'm back. Okay. All right. And we're still, yeah, we did not end the live stream. I just had a moment here. Okay, so let's see. Where did you get that part from? That part actually came with my machine, Marlene. I did not order it, so I would look on Sewing Machine Plus or something like that and see if you could find that part. The last time I wanted to buy a spare, and I'm gonna be honest, I had a difficult time finding it. So I would try to see if maybe you could find it. If you can't, this is another option you can do. You save the casings of the plastic ones that you have, and you may want to use the other bobbin and rewind a plastic one. I mean, but I don't know, that might be too much of a hassle. So to me, it's like if I had to do that, I'd probably be like, let me just buy another box, because I think, I'm not sure, because you know how things go up in price. Okay, one time I paid one price, and then people go on Amazon or no, and they order something, and it's like double, right? But I remember paying $24.99 for 100 bobbins. So that, to me, that's a decent price. So I don't know, but I don't know where I had got that part. Yeah, so I don't, so I would look at Sewing Machine Plus or something like that to buy that. It's pretty hit and miss, but craft supplies I've been happy with. Yeah, I mean, I agree, Erica. I mean, I was pretty happy with this. I was pretty impressed. I was like, this is not a bad price for these zipper pulls. I was like, this is really, really cute. I can see myself using this. So I'm pretty content. So now I can't wait to get my zipper by the yard. And I want to start making bags. I want to start making like makeup bags, little coin cases, stuff like that. Little simple stuff. That's what I want to try to do. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Hey, Marina, love you. When did you feel comfortable opening your own shop and getting your business license? When do you feel you were a professional embroiderer? That takes time. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, if you've watched videos that I've done in the past, one of the things that I always advise people to do is you got to really learn and study your craft. Okay, the last thing you want to do is to start a business and you are not really you don't want to start a business, start selling stuff, and then your stuff looks like crap. I'm telling you, you don't want to do that, because that is one way to really mess up your reputation. I started doing embroidery for, I think, like, it took me a whole year before I got comfortable enough where I said, okay, I'm gonna start start selling now. Okay, and it's been a process. Okay, it's something that I slowly grew into. When I excelled at embroidering kitchen towels, that's how I really started off with, and I knew how, I did designs and I made sure they came out really good. Then I started to branch out into other stuff, and then I did dinner napkins and everything. Eventually, though, those are really cool when you start selling stuff that you want to make and you want to sell. The problem with that, though, is that sometimes what you want to make and sell is not really what the people out there want to buy. So I have to, you have to really practice your skill set so that you can get into the world of custom embroidery. Okay, because sometimes that's what happens, is that people come to you with a design that they want to have digitized so that they can get it embroidered on certain fabrics. So as you start practicing and everything, you start to really learn what designs go with what fabric, what stabilizer to use. It's a lot to learn. It really is. It's not something that I tell people you can turn around in a day. So if you're looking to do this and you think you're going to be a millionaire overnight, it's not going to happen like that. This is something that's going to be very gradual. You're going to have to build your skill set. And when you start embroidering, I say the first thing you do is give your first embroiderers out to friends and family. The only issue though with friends and family, and I'm going to tell you something, you guys going to laugh, all right? But it's true. Sometimes you can make something for a friend and a family and they think it's the best thing in the world. But if you were to take that product and give it to someone that doesn't know you, okay, doesn't love you, doesn't know you from anything, and they'll be like, I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So, you got to be, you'll know when you're ready, okay? Compare your items with other embroiderers out there. That's another way to figure that out. Am I meeting the standard? Going to Macy's, going to in department stores, you see clothes embroidered there all the time. Okay, look at the shirts. Look inside the shirt. Okay, look at what type of stabilizer they're used. Look at the quality of the embroidery. That's why so you can get an idea of is your embroidery standing up to that type of embroidery, because obviously they got to be embroidering pretty good. I mean, they're selling in Macy's, they're selling in all these other stores and stuff. So it takes time. So I started just teaching myself, practicing a lot, making mistakes a lot, learning the hard way of what to use with what, and just reaching out to other people that do embroidery as a business and asking them advice and everything. I then, when I knew I was ready, that's when I established my shop, and that's when I went and I got my business license, and and it's been going pretty good and stuff. And this is something that you're learning all the time. You're learning this all the time. You're not going to learn it overnight. If someone's telling you that something's going to happen overnight, I don't know what to tell you. Okay, but I haven't seen it happen for anybody. Even people that you watch on YouTube, where you see them, you're seeing the back end of it. You're seeing the back end. You're seeing they're successful today, but what you don't see is all the years and all the time they had invested before they got to that moment. So it's something that takes a really, really, really long time to do. So but you can do it. I don't want you to think you can't. Okay, you can do it. All right, it's doable and stuff. You just got to work hard, and you'll be fine. Oh, and then even Bob said, I also waited a few years before selling. Wasn't planning on it. Everyone kept telling me I need to sell, so I did. Most of my stress disappeared when I got the multi needle and the mighty hoops. Yeah, it does get a little bit better and stuff like that. I have only done 2 embroidered items: a wedding commandant pillow and going away presents for my old boss. They said they liked it, but I know I messed up on a few things. See, and yes, and you know what? You laugh, but we are our own worst critics. Okay, even when I was talking to my friend Erica, right, when we were setting up her shop and stuff, her cups were gorgeous. I loved every cup, but there were like some cups where she marked them down, and I was like, this is a pretty cup. Why are you marking it down? And then she would come and go, oh, well, it's not as smooth, or it has a bubble in it. I'm like, ain't nobody gonna know about that bubble, but she knows it because it's her specialty. That's what she's good at, right? So she can look at it and feel it and know right off the bat, because that's her forte. That's her niche. She knows her cups. Okay. For me, the heck, I mean, I would have paid, because I wouldn't have known to rub my hand against it or feel a bubble. I was like, bubble? I ain't even, she said there was a bubble in the eye. I going to tell you, so I ain't felt nothing. But, if she wants to say there's a bubble, all right, Erica, there's a bubble. But I'm like thinking to myself, if I was there and I had a pen, I would have marked that sucker right back up, because I would have been like, nobody would have known about that bubble. But the thing is, we will always be our own worst critic, because we know what the perfection is supposed to look like. And I do the same, even when I embroider, okay? I know what good embroidery looks like, okay? And let me tell you something. There have been times when I've even walked into these stores and I see some of the embroidery and I'm like, seriously? It looks like crap. You could tell that the design wasn't aligned right. They didn't digitize it right and stuff. But hey, they're in there. They're in there, But it does take time. The more, and this is the thing, the more you practice, the more you're going to learn how to do it. And you're going to get better and better and better and better. That's, you just have to keep going. Just got to keep going. You cannot give up. That's really the key. You cannot give up on it. I'd rather embroider by hand than use those screw hoops again. I actually want to try hand embroidery. I actually do. I have a hoop and everything, and I've even bought the thread and the needle, and I want to try it. It's actually a whole other skill set. I would love to do that. What about sewing something on the back to cover the embroidery stitches? You don't, okay, they have something called covers. They have something, it's called cloud cover. And what it is it's an adhesive, and you just cut it out and then you iron it. I use a heat press. It's better to use a heat press, because a heat press will give the heat evenly, and it will also give the right amount of pressure so it doesn't come off. But they do have stuff like that. And I did a video on that on the channel as well and stuff. Some people use Tender Touch. Tender Touch is another good one. But you go on Amazon, you can buy something called Cloud Cover. That's another one. It's the same thing as Tender Touch, and Cloud Cover comes in different colors too. I mean, they're basic colors though. It's not like you're going to get like a purple, red, green, whatever. It usually you can find them in black or white. Sometimes, and it's very rare, when you can find the Cloud Cover in like a beige color. But I usually just get the black and the white. That's what I usually do. Are there any magnetic hoops for the, yes, there is. I have, Kimberly, I do have videos on my channel on using magnetic hoops for the SC1900. I have two of them right here. Let me show you what they look like. And I actually show how to use them. These are the magnetic hoops. This is the 5x12, okay? This is for if you want to do a larger design. And I have a video on the channel on how to use this, okay? Let me show you. This is the 5x7 magnetic hoop. I'm trying to pull it out here. This is that one, okay? And the way these work is, it's not, you don't have a snap. It's not like your regular 5x7 where it's two pieces. It's just one. And what it is you have these magnets. Here it is. Let me get you the magnet so you can see. Okay. I have them right here. All right. So what it is this is the hoop. And then you have these magnets. And this holds the item in place. And you just post it on your garment. Okay. And this is the magnetic hoop for the SC1900. And you can buy extra. You can purchase extra magnets if you want. Okay. These are I really highly recommend these if you I use this a lot with sticky stabilizer, which is why you kind of see a whole bunch of sticky stuff in the back. I use it with sticky stabilizer. Another thing you can do also is you can use stabilizer. You can use the spray adhesive if you want as well. These are really great if you are going to be embroidering bath towels, because bath towels are very, very thick. Okay. And because they're thick, sometimes it can get a little tricky to get underneath the needle. This is very different from your regular hoop. This is the regular hoop for your 5x7 for the SC1900, right? So one of the things is okay, this is the part where, okay, see how you see the height on this, okay? It's about like a quarter of an inch, something like that, right? So when you have a magnetic hoop, you can see by comparison, the magnetic hoop is much thinner, okay? So because it's thinner, you end up having more space. So what ends up happening is when you put a bath towel on here, you would float it, right? But this kind of gives it a little bit of an extra height, okay? Now, I do have videos on how to use these, okay? And I have also a video on how to use the big one as well, okay, on the channel. So if you just type magnetic hoop on SC1900, you'll find them. And I show you exactly how to use the hoop and show you me embroidering on them and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, they do have them. It's just not the same. It's just not really the same like the mighty hoops that you see on the multi-needle machines where it's two magnets and they just snap. Okay, these are different. It's a magnet, and then you have the little magnets things, and then you just put them on the garment and stuff like that. So yeah. I'll have to check that cloud cover. Yeah, it's something that would come in handy and make everything look neat. Yes, it does. And what happens too, and this is a cloud cover. Let me show you what it looks like. It's really just, it's very sheer. It's very sheer, okay? And then this is just it has adhesive on it. And then all you have to do is just cut the piece that you want, and you just lay it at the back of the embroidery, and you just iron it on. And it gives it a much cleaner finish. You can get it in white. This is the black, but they do have the white also. And in Tender Touch is really the same thing too. And the other thing, just to let you know also, if you have a Joann's by you, okay, you could use their coupons and all that kind of stuff, and you can buy the Tender Touch from Joann's, and you get it cheaper. I'm just saying, keep that money in that pocket. You know what I mean? See, those hoops are prone to sliding, applique, cutting. Yeah, if I would not, yeah. That if you're gonna do applique cutting, I agree with Bob. These can be tricky to use. He is right. These can be tricky to use. You got to make sure that you're not shifting the fabric, even though you have the magnets in place, okay? Unless you have a whole lot of magnets, sometimes the fabric can shift, okay? So I agree with him. If you're going to be doing applique, I don't recommend you use this. I recommend use this, okay? Because I feel that it would be a better thing. And the other thing too is I would pin, because see, and I'm gonna tell you why I recommend this. Because in here, what you would do, even though you're still floating, right? What you're gonna be doing is you take the stabilizer and you're pinching the stabilizer in here, right? So the stabilizer is gonna be really secure and tight in a regular hoop. The stabilizer is not going to go anywhere, okay? So what will happen is you spray the stabilizer, you take your garment, you can actually pin your garment to the actual stabilizer in the hoop. You can take like little quilting pins and stuff, just little sewing pins. And you can attach it to the stabilizer in the hoop, and it'll be more secure. Okay. If you use a magnetic hoop, you got to be very careful when you're moving that hoop around. Okay. Especially if you're doing an applique, because you can shift that fabric. All right. Because remember, this is just one piece. So that means that, unless you're using sticky stabilizer, if you use sticky stabilizer, then I can see the fabric not shifting that much. But if you're using like tear away or cut away, and then you're spraying adhesive on it, and then you're putting the clamps on top, you're actually putting the clamps on top of the fabric and also the stabilizer. So what ends up happening is the stabilizer and the fabric can shift. Okay. So it just depends. Okay. So I kind of agree with Bob. You got to be careful. Yes. And there is another magnetic hoop for the single needle from Dime. Yes. There. I don't know what happened. I keep hitting something. I don't know. Anyway. Okay. Oh, I didn't see that question. Did you answer my question? Oh, do not know. Okay. Yes. Okay. Let me highlight. Hold on a minute, because McFake asked a really good question, and I want you guys to hold on a minute now. Hold on. I want this one. Thank you for being persistent to make sure I saw this. Okay. Do not, and I'm serious, guys. Cloud cover and tender touch is not stabilizer. Okay. That is not stabilizer. That is used to cover the back of your stitches. All right. The reason why I tell you that this is not good for stabilizer. Okay. Let's look at this. Okay. Let's study this for a little bit so you guys can understand. All right. All right. This is tearaway stabilizer. Okay. There's a certain weight to this. All right. It is a little flimsy, but there's a certain weight. Okay. It is stiff. It is a little stiff. Okay. All right. Look at this. Because see how this kind of, you can see it kind of holds its shape a little bit. All right. This doesn't have any shape to hold. You see how it just flips down like that? This has no strength. This has no strength. Okay. All right. Stabilizer is, think of the name. Think of the name. Stabilizer. Okay. To stabilize. Make something stable. Strength. You need some kind of strength in there. Okay. No strength. Okay. Which means that when you're embroidering thousands of stitches. Okay. In a piece of fabric. That fabric wants to lay on stabilizer. It needs strength. Okay. This is stabilizer. This is not stabilizer. This will mess you up. Okay. So do not do it. So McFate, thank you so much for being persistent on that, because no, that is not stabilizer. Cloud cover is not stabilizer. It is not going to work. Okay. I don't recommend it. And I'll tell you what, I ain't doing it. That's for sure. No, I don't know. No. And this is the other thing too. If you want to try it, give it a shot. Try it and then tell me what happens after you wash it. That's the test. Okay. Wash that item and tell me how it worked out. I don't mean to be snippy, but I'm just saying. Okay. Stabilizer. There's a reason for stabilizer. Okay. There is a reason. How well does cover houses stick? I'm curious to try it. I think it sticks really good, but Bob, I do use a heat press. Okay. Um, even with tender touch, I have heard people tell me that sometimes it comes off. But when I ask them how they applied it, a lot of times they tell me, well, I used an iron. And this is the thing. When it comes to the tender touch and the cloud cover, you want to be able to use really a heat press, and you want to make sure you use the right amount of heat with the right amount of pressure, which is why I really think the heat press is really the way to go. If you want to do that, that my heat press is right here. I have a 15 by 15 heat press. So, I never had an issue with them not sticking, but I do use a heat press for it. So, that's why. So, let me see. Oh, I think a Joanne should do with the Cooper. Big Faye, I'm telling you, boy, I could save y'all some money. Well, I have done videos on the channel on how to save money. I have done that. Okay. I have shown, I do have some videos where I have shown you guys how to use cashback applications so that you guys can get cash back and everything. And this is the other thing, guys. If you guys are military, or if you guys, are teachers, Michael's has military discount, teachers discount. So does Joanne. They have military and discount. Hobby Lobby does not, because according to Hobby Lobby, they say they got a sale every day, which is why I'm gonna be on. I really don't go to Hobby Lobby because of that. What I like about Joann's is that I get to use both or the higher. Sometimes they let me use both. Sometimes it's whatever's higher, either is my military discounts higher or my other discount is higher. So, oh yeah, I'm all about the saving money. Like even like buying embroidery scissors and craft scissors. Joanne has the ginger scissors. They have very good scissors there. And you could use your coupons to buy scissors. Okay. Now I wish they sold stuff like the Kia scissors that I love. Those are very expensive though, and I wish they carried them because I would love to buy those with a coupon, but I haven't been able to find them cheap anywhere. So I just have to suck it up, suck it up, buttercup, and pay that money, so I gotta do it. But but there are a lot of things that, a lot of times people say, oh, but Joanne's, I don't want to go to the store and stuff, but I'm gonna be honest with you. Sometimes getting up and walking into that store with your discount and your coupons, sometimes you end up saving a lot more than if you would just go online and buy it online and stuff. Now, another thing, now that Make Faith, now you got me thinking about Teemo, because I went online and I bought these, very inexpensive, and the quality is really, really good. Now I'm wondering, I wonder if Teemo sells stabilizer. I wonder if they do. And if they do, how good a quality of stabilizer do they sell? Because I do know that they sell threads. Now, I look at their threads. I don't know if I would buy them. I'm not sure, but I don't know about the scissors either, but like Erica was saying, she gets some of her craft supplies from Teemo. She's been pretty happy with them. So, I'm just wondering about the quality. And I see some of you guys probably looked it up because I see Eleanor and Rosie said they sell them. So, you know what? Maybe what I'll do is I will do a video of me ordering some of these embroidery supplies. Let's check them out. I think I'll do a video on that. Let's check out the quality of it too, because that's really what's important. Because remember, I'm not looking for cheap stuff, because you got to be careful, because sometimes when you go for something that's very inexpensive and if the quality is not there, it can really make a difference in your embroidery and stuff like that. But let's give it a shot. I don't have a problem trying it out and seeing, because if we can save a buck, why not? Because a lot of my stabilizers I do get from either Joann's or I do get it from Amazon. And sometimes I'm always looking for for deals. I also get some of my stabilizers from allstitch.com. I get it from there also. Their quality is very, very good. And I always try to buy, one of the things that I do find is I buy rolls versus cuts sometimes. Okay, sometimes you could buy the cuts, sometimes the rolls. The problem with the rolls is, you get a roll, you got to cut the size that you need yourself. But I feel that if you have a roll, you're just cutting what you need, and maybe it lasts longer versus when you have a pre-cut, you pay a little more, but it's because they sat down and they cut it for you. But there have been times when I buy the roll and I know the particular cut I need, and I'll buy the roll, and while I'm watching a movie or something like that, I'll just sit on the floor with a cutting board and a rotary color, and I'll just measure, and I'll just slice it and cut the stabilizer myself. Because the way I look at it is, if I'm saving an extra $3-4 just cutting the stabilizer myself, I could do it, especially if I have the time. Now on the holidays, if I have to buy stabilizer and stuff like that, I ain't got time to be cutting no stabilizer. I'll pay the $4. You know what I mean? But when I have my downtime and stuff, and I check my inventory and I gotta buy stabilizer, I'll buy the roll and then I'll just cut it myself. If I want particular sizes and stuff like that, that's how I usually do. Anyway, all right, guys. So it has been, oh my God, it's 11 o'clock and you guys still hanging out with me. Thank you. I appreciate it. And so I actually do enjoy our Fridays. I really do. Because I think it's pretty cool. Because I get to, I feel like, like you guys are like in the room with me and we're just like hanging out. That's how I kind of feel. And so, and I like answering your questions and helping you guys out and everything. So anyway, guys, but it is 11 o'clock. It's late. Okay. So I am going to say good night. And I really do hope that you guys enjoyed the topic that I had, because I really wanted to share with you guys the information that I learned from Justin yesterday. And I am going to reach out to him and I'm going to see if we can schedule something for January, February, because I think it would be awesome to have him online with us so that we can actually talk about the machine. Like I know Bob, he at one time, he has a brother 680, okay, one of the newer 616 machine, and he actually took the cover off of his machine. He's more daring, okay? So he took off the cover of his machine and he's like, I'm going to do self-maintenance. So, I know a lot of you guys, are interested in this topic of what to do, what not to do, what to touch, what you shouldn't touch. And I think that would really help us all a lot, especially, whether you have single needle machine or a multi-needle machine. He's worked on all of them. So I think he's such a wealth of information. So I will work with him to see if he can do a live with us. So that way we can get more 411 from him. And I'll make sure to post his information also on our Facebook group, just in case you guys live in Virginia or Maryland or in Washington, D.C., and you guys want, him to service, because he does travel and goes to people's homes and fix their machines and everything. You just have to call and schedule, and he tries to schedule you at a time when he has someone else on the route. So that way, he's not zigzagging all over town and everything like that. So, yeah, he's a really awesome guy. And I think you guys will really like him. He's a real joy. So guys, I will talk to you guys later. And like I said, if you like tonight's topic, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I am trying really hard to try to get to 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I don't know if I'll get there. I think I am almost at 19,000. If I get there, great. If not, I know I'll get there someday, hopefully. So, anyway, I will talk to you guys later. You guys have a great weekend. Enjoy and have a good night. I'll talk to you later. Bye.